feels so good to be home, back in America's finest city. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. I am Woodsy. Good to see my brothers in arms in here. I missed you guys. I feel like I was gone for about 2 weeks, but whirlwind short vacation is over. We're back on the grind. It's opening day week, and baseball starts in just a couple of days, and I'm elated. I'm elated about all of them. Elated to be back. Elated to see you guys. Elated about the trip I just had as well. I'll fill you in a little bit on that. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
I missed your face, missed your body, missed your mind, all of it, man, the whole package. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. I missed all of that about you as well, man.
It's good to see you.
Thanks for filling in yesterday.
I didn't fill in. It's also my show. So
it's kind of like
I just was here and you weren't.
It's kind of like when you say I'm going to babysit my kids. Yes. Like, no, those are your children. You're just going to be a dad.
I know this is wrong.
Thanks for the fill in, though.
But I'm somewhat disappointed that you don't have the skier face with like the white eyes where the goggles were, and then the red everywhere else where you were reflecting off the snow and got that snow burn. You look fairly normal.
Do I? Because I got some color for sure.
Have a little color.
I got some color. It was hot. It was hot.
Hot.
It was hot. I mean, it was like. Let me say this. First of all, the trip was magical. We went to, if you didn't know, we went to Telluride. My in-laws have a house there that is stunning. It's a cool town. I'd never been, and the whole town is about 2 blocks long. I mean, it's tiny. It's a tiny little ski town. And then there's the mountain perched right there. You can walk to the mountain from their house, but I didn't want to. Here's the thing. I didn't know about altitude, Paulie. Nobody has ever said anything about altitude and the effects of altitude and what they can have on the human body. I've never heard anything about this. So I didn't really know what to expect. Now, I hadn't been to Colorado in many years. I can't even look at it with a straight face. I hadn't been to Colorado in many years. And the altitude just kicked my teeth in. I would walk up the stairs at their house.
Now play a college basketball game.
Exactly. My hands are on my knees. I'm like, and my mother-in-law is dying laughing. And I'm like, I've been in the gym and I've been actually putting in a lot of good work. And so the altitude murdered me the first day. It knocked Hannah out the second day. I thought she was gonna have to go to the hospital. Like, she was completely out of sorts. But let me walk you through it. So we get there, no problem. Now, I will say this. I had the greatest time. I had so much fun. It was not one of those vacations. There's different kind of vacations. There's your active vacation, and then there's your relaxing vacation. This was an active vacation. Landing, immediately going from the airport to the ski shop, in theory, is a great idea. You get all your stuff that you need and just get it knocked out so you're ready to jam, to go hit the slopes bright and early next day. 2 kids that have no idea what they're doing, no idea how to put on ski boots, no idea long lines in there. So we got the gear. Almost killed both of them at one point. I mean, they're crying. I'm bored. I don't want to be here. I'm losing my mind. My wife is elbowing me. Probably called them some names under my breath, minus the probably. We got it done though. So we go and have a nice dinner out. And then the next morning we were ready to hit it, man. And they had a ski instructor who was awesome. Dave is chatterbox, like you wouldn't believe. Just bah, 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 bah. I'm like, Dave, take my children, teach them to ski. I'll see you when they're done. I love you, man. Thank you. So I hit the slopes with my mother-in-law. Now I was nervous, man. I was really nervous. It's a daunting mountain, right? It's very tall, and there's 2 sides of it. And so we go over kind of the easy side. Benny, it honestly was like riding a bike. I mean, I got on the skis. From putting them on and sashaying over to the lift line, I go, I remember this. I got this.
Felt right.
Paulie, it felt perfect.
Now, how long had it been since you had last skied?
By my estimation, it had been about 17 years.
Wow.
I skied once, like in New Mexico, before I moved out here. But I had skied my whole life growing up, and it really came back like riding a bike. Get up to the top of the mountain, and I just start jamming, and I just start having a great time. Didn't fall at all, but I will say, man, the knees, the quads, screaming, and you're so dehydrated. You don't sweat at all. The altitude messing with you. So I hit it pretty hard that day. And then Hannah, the next day, her and her sister and her mom, they went snowshoeing, and they snowshoed to the top of a mountain, like the very, very top. And that just kicked their ass. But they had a great time. I skied so hard the last day there.
So we have a question.
Yeah.
On the last day, you sent us a video, and I assumed it was you skiing down the mountain.
It was.
Okay, it was.
It was me.
But then Paulie played it on the air, and it sounded like you were breathing.
That's my
during the
father-in-law.
video.
That was my father-in-law. Yeah, that was him.
How did you inherit your father-in-law's loud breathing?
Good question. Yeah, that's him.
Very Woods-like.
Yeah, very Woods-like. Mine's a little more deep.
Because it was from a distance. Like, you can't tell who's who.
Everyone's Marcus. Oh, he thought, oh, this is probably Woods, but everyone looks puffy and, coming down.
I was like, I don't know. I thought that was maybe him filming Hannah or something because you just hear.
You didn't see him zoom in. He zoomed in on me.
Someone.
That was me.
It could have been you.
That
It could have been
covered head to
other
toe.
people.
Why would I send you a video of some random guy
we
skiing?
didn't know.
So good. Yeah, it's not guttural enough for me. Mine is much more. But
Carlos says not enough nasal whistle.
yeah, it's true. That's true. We had such a great time. But the last day skiing there was, for me, it was Sunday.
3, 2.
Yeah,
Catching up with Padres pitcher.
That's me. So last day skiing there, I'm not kidding when I say I could have skied in a t-shirt by the end, like a long sleeve tee. I had my long john shirt on and my jacket. My jacket was unzipped. I mean, the conditions were perfect. It was just the most perfect experience. And then yesterday, so I got up early, took Bo to his last day of ski school, and he was nervous. He'd been on the bunny slope for 2 days and just crushing the bunny slope, but it's basically a flat ground, essentially, tiny little slope down. So Dave said, Bo, I'm taking you up today. You're going to ride the chairlift. And he was about as nervous as I've ever seen him. No tears, no nothing. Got a video later of him bombing down the mountain, the big mountain. I was sobbing last night when I got it. I was so proud of him. He crushed it. Taylor did really well too. I don't know what his day, I think he bailed on skis yesterday, just hung out with his grandmother. But man, he took to it like no problem, just bombing down the mountain, leading the charge. It was really, really cool. So it was an awesome family trip. The town, I highly recommend going. The people were so kind, and there's this fascination though. And I want to do like a deep psychological study on the Grateful Dead and ski resorts, because every boombox at the chairlift was blasting the Grateful Dead. We stopped for lunch in the middle of the village, and there's this old man and old woman up playing, and they're playing Grateful Dead. Everywhere you went was Grateful Dead. And I'm like, what? How many times can I hear Shakedown Street or Truckin'? Like I'd pull up to the ski thing and get on the chair, be like, Truckin', got my chips cashed in. Every single one. I'm like, what is it? Why is the Grateful Dead, and why does it go hand in hand with ski resorts?
I have no idea.
I have no idea either, but it was like everywhere. So I did not fall once.
Not once.
Not one time. I got the last run. I got a little bit. I was going I knew it was my last run. So I was going a little bit fast, and I got a little bit over my skis for a second.
Literally.
And I recovered. And I was like, oh God, because I would have wiped that in front of, I don't know, 300 people. So I brought it in, made it through. The one time, the chairlift, Benny, you didn't make it that far skiing where you have to ride the chairlift.
Not really.
Paulie, it can be a little dicey.
Getting off?
Getting on, getting off, right? You got to shimmy to the spot, make sure you turn around, let it get you, take you up. And then the getting off.
Again, I've never skied, but I would just assume way harder snowboarding.
Oh, it's impossible. The snowboarding, it's dangling from one foot. You have to balance.
You got to unhook, and then you're just doing this weird
just
hobble.
Hop. Yeah. So the very last chairlift, the very last one took us all the way to the top. Scott gets off and peels left. I'm kind of waiting for him to peel. And so I start to go down. The chairlift hits me square in the back. I go like that. It knocks me, almost fell over, but it slammed me in the back because they move fast. It slams me in the middle of the back, and I go like that. And I stayed on my feet and got through it. But dude, it was so fun. I actually thought to myself, I should have brought the gear. I should have brought the gear and skied a couple more days. But you know what? Don't tempt fate. You made it. I probably took 50 runs and didn't wipe out, didn't hurt a knee or anything. So I'm pretty happy with the experience. But Hey, listen, I'm going to warn you right now. This is going to be spring break for the next as long as we can do it, because it was so cool. It was really fun. I'm glad we got to do it.
And now you're home.
Now I'm
without
home.
the kids.
Yeah,
for a few days.
And I thought about it last night when I landed. I was like, oh, this would be nice to have a few days off. I'm not going to be able to do the empty nest thing, dude. It was coming back from vacation without your kids was kind of difficult. We were kind of looking at each other like, what do we do now? No kids to get ready. Hannah's got no kids to get ready for school this morning. She's kind of flipping out about it. So we're going to try to lean into it. And it's not like we don't have a ton of work and a ton of stuff to talk about.
It's a busy week here this week. So you can kind of lean into the start of the Padres season and work and our 7th anniversary. I don't even know. Do we have anything planned? We've got our 7th anniversary show and opening day on the same day on Thursday, a live show at Rick's Baja Cantina. I feel a little underprepared. Well,
I do too. And I was thinking about on the plane yesterday of like, I don't want to take anything away from, opening day in the San Diego Padres. I don't want to be self-serving. We're not a podcast, so we have to serve our audience in the way that we need to in regards to opening day. But yeah, man, I'd like to celebrate a little bit. It is, it's a big deal, especially in these modern times of a radio show actually getting the chance to make it 7 years, starting their 8th year. It's a big deal. It's quite an accomplishment, and what we've accomplished should be celebrated. So, yeah, we can do a tequila shot or two or whatever we want to do. But yeah, I want to, we'll focus mostly on baseball, but we can do a little memory lane for sure.
I just was thinking last night about the fact that I don't think I ever would have believed that you could have a show like we would be on for 7 years.
Me
when
neither.
we first started,
me neither. No chance.
That would have been 7 weeks. Would have been my over and under.
I would have said 7 months, honestly. And I think we made it about 7 months before they pulled the plug on the entire station. So we definitely had some ups and downs, man. But yeah, there's a lot to get to. I'll be honest, man. Like, I'm kind of out of the loop on the tournament. I know what happened with Nick Boyd when I left. I know what happened with Magoon yesterday. I want to talk about that. Couple of big blows to the Aztecs program. The roster crunch has been, insane fodder that I've seen on Twitter. I want to talk about that as well. And there's a lot of little stories sprinkled around sports that are pretty interesting as well. Managed to catch literally the extra time in the SDFC game. That's all I was able to catch because I just got off the mountain, put it on, saw extra time, saw that we lost to Austin. Way undermanned, bunch of guys on the injury report. So
yeah, still played
hung in.
Well, after another slow start, they dominated the time of possession again.
Yeah.
Just weren't able to find the equalizer after getting that first goal. But it seemed like Mikey Varas was not unhappy with his team's effort and performance, just some things to clean up, especially the slow start.
Yeah, the slow start and getting guys healthy. Getting guys healthy is going to be paramount for any team that does athletics, Ben. You want to make sure you have the healthiest guys on the court, on the floor, on the diamond, wherever it is. And that's SDFC does not have that luxury right now.
Yep. And of course, we did get more Padres roster news last night.
Yep.
If you missed it, we will give you an update on the Padres starting rotation, the back of the bullpen. There was a move there, so it's looking like we have some definition going into opening day into the 26-man roster. Paulie and I spent a bunch of time yesterday talking about some of the decisions that were reported over the weekend. But
you'd be so proud of him, Woods. He didn't mention the Lakers once.
That's unbelievable. Good for you. Are they not playing well?
No, they're playing poorly.
Oh, well, there you go.
Bodied again last night
by
the
Orlando
sense, Magic. I just ignore.
It wasn't an invitation. I was just pointing it out.
I'm putting my head in the sand and hoping they can turn it around before the playoffs, but nothing good to talk about.
Good.
So
well, that's where it should be.
I was ignoring it yesterday. I didn't even talk about golf. I could have talked about Victor Hovland winning.
Justin Thomas.
I mean, you had JT
I
in
did.
your picks, and he had a three-shot lead.
And still,
with
I'll
like
take
4 holes left.
I'll
Second
take
place is not bad in
Not
one of those
bad.
pools. But yeah, I did not talk any golf. I did not talk any NBA. It
Wow.
was all baseball and college basketball for the most part yesterday, getting us caught up. And we can talk some more college basketball today. I was watching last night the Juju Watkins injury for USC was, and then the update this morning is what everyone feared. It's the torn ACL, out for the tournament, out for the season. Just such a disappointment. I know that there's not a ton of USC lovers, but we got a few of them in the Tier 1 audience, and I think anyone who loves college basketball, just sports in general, that's such a bummer to see that happen. in the biggest moment of the year in the tournament, a star player like that going down and being out was such a rough moment last night.
Anytime you see an athlete get hurt and they pound the ground or the grass or the court or whatever, and they know it, that they know, it's just a gut-wrenching feeling. And you saw that last night with Juju. And hey, listen,
you'll tell yourself as the viewer, as the fan, you're like, oh, it could be okay. It could be just a sprain or something.
They know.
They know.
And listen, I only hate USC football, so I am rooting for her complete and total recovery. But yeah, man, it was, once you saw her like yell out and kind of slam the floor, you're like, yep, that'll do it.
I think it's the writhing.
Yeah, the writhing
really makes you turn your stomach.
Tough,
like
man.
when she's on the ground and just,
it's tough.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking. I was watching it live last night. Just such a sad one. So we got a bunch of stuff to get into. We will set the menu for the program when we come back. Special guests, special giveaways on 2 days, the penultimate day before opening day.
Here we go.
We're opening day eve here, so we will let you know what we've got coming up on the program today. It's good to have Woods back. Everyone in the fold as we get ready to start the baseball season, opening week 2025. And we'll get back after a check of traffic with Kelly Danick here on 97.3 The Fan.
Well, let me tell you, anytime you go away, you got things at home that you miss. And you'll laugh, but I'm dead serious when I say I 1,000% missed my giant jug of Eco Water. The water in Colorado is very hard. Very, very hard. You cannot get the shampoo out of your hair in Colorado. Tough on your skin, tough on
the altitude too.
In the altitude as well. But the water, man, it's just not even close to what we've got at home with the Eco Water system. With a reverse osmosis system, you get bottle quality water straight from your tap. If you want an upgrade, Eco Water's alkaline filters take hydration to the next level. We've got it in the house. Soft, purified water has been a total game changer for us. Hannah and the boys absolutely love it. Everybody's all in on Eco Water in our home. Clean water deserves clean air. Eco Water SoCal also has state-of-the-art air purification that removes 99.99% of pollutants. So now I've got pure water, fresh air, happy family, all thanks to Eco Water SoCal. Couldn't be more happy with our Eco Water system. Get a free in-home water test today. Call 760-350-3338 or go to ecowatersocal.com. Make sure to tell them Woodsy sent you. Again, 760-350-3338 or ecowatersocal.com. Your water should be perfect. I do apologize, though, boys, because it's the only time I've gone on a trip I didn't bring you guys anything, because I never went to like a gift shop at all. I never stopped. I didn't bring home a Telluride t-shirt or a hat or anything.
Well, thank you for not getting us anything from the San Diego airport.
I almost did. Actually, Hannah and
that's
I,
the
San Diego
that's
shot
the
glass
worst cop out of all. Like, you go on a trip, you forget to get something, and then you just buy something at the airport when you're back in your hometown.
We were at the Denver airport yesterday, and we had about an hour to kill, so we grabbed lunch at a place called Great Walk, and they had merch. So I almost got you each a Great Walk hat, Great Walk Denver, which I thought would have been funny, but it was $20 I didn't want to spend after dropping some coin this weekend. But
skiing and not cheap.
It's not cheap. I'm in the wrong business. I was returning my skis, by the way, and this guy's up at the counter, and the other guy's like, "All right, that'll be $690." And I'm like, "What did you get?" Like, he was just renting skis for his family. I'm like, $700. Lift ticket was ungodly for 2 days. I mean, it's insanely expensive. So just know I thought about you way late, and I almost got you a Great Walk Denver hat.
I haven't been snowboarding, and it's been probably 10 years. So I don't even remember how much we paid. When you're on vacation, like, it was a destination wedding, so when you're there, you're just like, whatever.
Yeah, you're like, whatever.
I'm not gonna not go down the mountain. But like growing up, I'm pretty sure like ski passes were like $75, $80 for a day.
For the day.
A day.
Yeah, we used to get the ones for the
passes.
year. Yeah.
Yeah, season pass. I mean, we're talking like right now, if you go up to Mammoth or Big Bear, it's like $200 for the day, $250, $300.
Mine was $500 for 2 days.
For 2 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, $250 a day.
He said $490. I was like, gotta get my money's worth here, dude.
Guess Ben will not be taking up skiing at any point in his life. So,
yes, that's why you're not.
So
thought about
many
you.
reasons.
I thought about you when I was on the mountain.
That's one of them.
It made me sad thinking about you carrying your skis down that day.
There's nothing worse than paying a lot of money to be miserable.
Dude, 100%. There's nothing on the planet worse than that. You just laid all this money. You're like, well, I literally can't have fun.
I'll pay money for fun. I'll be miserable for free.
100%.
I do not want to combine the two.
Such a good point.
You
It's
both.
such a good point, man.
All right, so the Padres are putting the final touches on the upgrades and improvements that they always do at Petco Park ahead of opening day. They announced some of the changes yesterday, and coming up on the program today at 8 o'clock this morning, we will get more details on the upcoming 2025 season when we're joined by the CEO of the San Diego Padres, Erik Greupner, is going to check in. Little pre-opening day update from Erik Greupner at 8 o'clock. And because opening day is coming up in 2 days, and we are the flagship station, we have a pair of tickets to give away for opening day. And these, of course, going to be a sellout, going to be tough to get in. So this will be one of your last chances to acquire tickets for free. But you have to listen to the program today, because I'm not going to just give it away and tell you, fourth caller at 9:40. You're going to be listening for our sounder today, and we'll have a different one because we have tickets all week long. Today, we're giving away opening day tickets. Tomorrow, we have tickets for the second game. Thursday, we have tickets for Saturday's game, and Friday, we have tickets for Sunday's game. So 2 days ahead, we're giving away tickets all day this week, and each day we'll have a different sounder. Paulie, what is today's sounder to win the opening day Padres tickets?
Merrill Madness!
There you go. Don Orsillo, Merrill Madness. So the next time you hear that, could be any time between now and 10 a.m., you're going to call us at 833-288-0973. And the fifth caller, after you hear Don Orsillo's Merrill Madness, is going to win the opening day tickets for the Padres and the Atlanta Braves. Michael King against the Cy Young Award winner Chris Sale on Thursday afternoon at Petco Park.
Man, I am ready to go. I cannot wait.
Very excited. Tough matchup to start the year.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Not only because you're facing the Cy Young Award winner, but you're also taking on the team you knocked out of the playoffs last year. We don't think about we think about the Dodgers knocking us out. Braves have been thinking all year long about the Padres knocking them out in 2 days, and they get the immediate chance at revenge in the first series of the season in the same ballpark where their year ended last year.
Yeah, and I just remember that series, and they were just so decimated with injury, and I felt like we were going to win this one going away, no problem, and Padres handled business, and this is a different Braves team, Ben. This is what we will see on opening day is different, including, their left fielder will be Jerkson Profar, running out to a very natural position and spot for him out at left field at Petco Park, just not for the brown and gold.
The Braves pitching staff was pretty decimated in the playoffs.
Yep.
They didn't even have Sale available. You ended up with A.J. Smith-Shawver having to get a start. So
he made the rotation this year too.
You're going to get a tougher look on the starting rotation. Now, you are missing Spencer Strider is not back yet. He's getting close, but he won't pitch in this series. And Ronald Acuna Jr., not back yet. So you're not getting the Braves at completely full strength, but you'll see a fairly motivated squad that is picked by most to win the NL East this year, or at least fighting with the Mets and the Phillies all the way down to the wire and expected to make the playoffs. So a good test for your San Diego Padres to open the season.
Been kind of a sexy pick to win the NL.
I mean, if you don't want to pick the Dodgers because everyone else is picking the Dodgers, the Braves are probably, if you said you can pick any, you can't pick the Dodgers, pick anyone else.
Probably number two.
Braves are probably the team that gets the most choices in that scenario.
And again, just based on look who they have coming back. They got an MVP coming back, and they got a potential Cy Young coming back, and they'll be here.
Maybe in all of baseball, not just the National League, like to win the whole thing.
Yeah, but 100%. And they got a good young rotation. Again, like every single team, it's going to be health dependent, but they have a really good squad. It's going to be an ultimate challenge for the Padres right out of the chute.
So we do know now who the Padres starting rotation is going to be. Not the specific days for everybody, but based on the moves from last night, we can say with somewhat authority and confidence, the Padres have made their decisions for their starting rotation. So we'll get into that coming up in our next segment, bottom of the hour, talk about the final roster moves that were made yesterday. Brandon Lockridge making the squad as well. Woods, you can discuss the moves that had everyone really up in arms yesterday on the show.
Yeah.
Yuli Gurrel making the team. Jason Hayward, obviously, probably going to be your starting left fielder to open the season. So we'll get into those Padres moves, and then we'll talk some Aztecs. The bad news yesterday, Magoon Gwath entering the transfer portal. We can get into that in our 7 o'clock hour, plus all of our regular features like Don't Do This. Take on Woods back after we took the day off yesterday. We played a real or fake game of Colorado ski resorts yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Went right down to the wire. Beaver Creek was the winner.
That's a real one.
That is a real one.
Yeah.
Very good. And then Reindl Report at the end of the show. Again, you're listening for that sounder. Don't call now. Next time you hear Merrill Madness from Don Orsillo, you'll call in to win the Padres tickets at 833-288-0973. We'll take a quick timeout, come back, and talk Padres roster decisions next here with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, played at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
One thing you can't do up in Colorado is go to 7 Mile Casino.
That's true.
Very, very nice card room in Chula Vista. First time I went there, my expectations were actually low because I had passed it a few times, and I go, I would have known if this place was nice, right? But I walked in and I go, no, this place is really, really nice. It's comfortable, it's clean, it's friendly. It's upscale, and if you like playing cards, I don't think you're going to find a better spot in all of San Diego than 7 Mile Casino.
Yeah, Benny, I could not agree more. Decide for yourself, though. Go give it at least one shot, right? Go grab lunch, play a little California-style blackjack. You can go in and out. I mean, it's 7-minute drive from downtown. You can get in and out of there in an hour. Get lunch, drive on back to work or home, whatever you want to do. But yeah, see for yourself. Don't take our word for it, man. It's a spectacular place that we love, and they've been with us since the very jump of Ben and Woods.
And they want you to know, if you're looking for high limit action, they can take care of you. High limit players find a home at 7 Mile Casino, whether it's Texas Hold'em or California style blackjack. You're going to sit down. They're going to take good care of you. You got food specials from Sammy's. If you're a player at the table, 35% off. That's a great discount. If you're playing, you can eat right there at the table. Enjoy all the TVs, everything that 7 Mile Casino has to offer. Make the quick drive down the 5 freeway to Chula Vista. 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown. I like to get credit where credit is due. So I think I also have to take the L when that is also due. Yesterday, Sammy Levitt was with us, and we made our predictions as to who would win the last jobs in the starting rotation. We both agreed Randy Vasquez was going to make it, and he did. But I thought Stephen Kolek had done enough to win the last starter's job. Sammy said he thought it was going to be Kyle Hart, and it turned out Sam Levitt was right. Last night we got word after the Padres broke camp in Peoria, probably were headed home when they released the news that Stephen Kolek had been optioned to Triple-A, one of the moves that was made yesterday, leaving the Padres with a starting rotation of Michael King, Dylan Cease, Randy Vasquez, Nick Pivetta, and Kyle Hart to open the season with, Yu Darvish standing by, hopefully getting healthy within the first couple of weeks and rejoining the rotation at some point. Woods, your thoughts on Kyle Hart and Randy Vasquez winning the competition to join the starting rotation?
Kolek got a lot of play, got a lot of opportunities. I thought he did a really good job, induces soft contact, gets ground balls. Again, not an overpowering guy by any stretch of the imagination, but I thought he pitched well enough to earn that spot. And I was kind of concerned about Randy Vasquez, but he has kind of come on a little bit as of late. Kyle Hart, I just don't feel like I saw enough of him, but again, man, we talked about it a little bit before the show. What it looks like today doesn't necessarily mean that's what it's going to look like in 2 weeks. The most hubbub I saw was about the bench pieces, and I did kind of step back for a second and go, man, we're getting pretty worked up about some of these bench pieces, and there's a little bit of clarity that can be brought to the table. I didn't have it this morning. I asked you about it. I said, man, I'm kind of bummed if Oscar Gonzalez opts out, and turns out with Oscar Gonzalez, he's got a couple of months to decide.
So yeah, AJ Cassavell was with us yesterday. He didn't know the exact date,
right?
But he does have an opt-out if he's not on the big league roster, but it's not yet. It's sometime during the season, whether it's May 1st or June 1st. We don't know specifically when that date is, but the Padres can send him down to Triple-A. Now, he's not on the 40-man roster,
right?
So they didn't have to option him, and they didn't. He was not officially one of the moves, but they can now assign him to presumably El Paso and bring him up, at any point. They can add him to the 40-man roster, bring him up, and then if they do, he'll be locked into the Padres for a major league deal, and he will not be able to opt out. But they have time to do that. They did not have time with Yuli Gurrel, who had an opt-out this weekend. If he was not added to the 40-man roster, he could have left the Padres organization, gone somewhere else, and tried to latch on with another team to make the big league. So in a lot of ways, I think the Padres' decision, I mean, they thought they were impressed by Yuli Gurrel. I don't know if you read the piece from Kevin Acee. They were truly impressed by what they saw. The professional, hitter that he is, felt like he has bounced back from did have some rough seasons the last couple of years. Felt like he's a better player now, and he's more like the player that won the batting title. Was 3 or 4 years ago when he won a batting title than the one that really struggled the last couple of years. And if they didn't put him on the roster, likely we're going to lose him. So when you have that, facing that decision, it makes sense. You can always change your mind later and say, okay, well, Yuli, it's not working out. But if you don't put him on the roster now, you don't get a do-over later. You lose him. So it's like getting 2 players for the price of 1 on your roster right now by starting the season with Yuli Gurrel.
Yeah, I mean, had you told me, December 1st, all right, Woodsy, I've got the crystal ball, and here's your Padres bench going into 2025. It's going to be Yuli Gurrel, Jose Iglesias, Martin Maldonado, Gavin Sheets. I would have said, what? I wouldn't have guessed any of those guys, not one of them. I would have said, oh, it'll be T-Wade. We just got Connor Joe, Jason Hayward, maybe. If he makes the squad. Eggy Rosario is probably going to be there. There's a good chance Eggy's not with this organization anymore sooner than later.
That's the one that may sting a little bit in the future. And the Padres realize that.
They do.
They think that Eggy's going to be claimed.
Yeah.
And not only that, they think he will be in the big leagues, and they think he's going to be a decent big leaguer at some point. And they know that they may regret that decision, but they also feel like he's not ready right now to contribute to a team that's trying to win in 2025. And they just felt like we don't have a place to hide him on the 26-man roster this season. We need that spot for other guys, and they made the tough decision not to add him, which means they're going to have to DFA him, put him through waivers, and there's a very good chance he ends up claimed and in another organization by the end of the next week.
Probably like the Mariners or something, who absolutely need some guys that can hit left-handed pitching. And he actually did a decent job hitting right-handers in spring training. Hit a couple of bombs off some right-handers too, which I know was part of his game that he was working on. You don't want to be known as a guy that can just, platoon and hit left-handers. So I think that's, like you said, that could be one that stings. Is he going to go on to turn into the next Brent Rooker? I don't know. I have no idea. For his sake, I hope so. Good for him. But yeah, man, it's certainly some interesting decisions. But with Connor Joe going down to the minors, I know he's super bummed about that. I don't blame him even a little bit. I saw somebody say that you said Connor Joe did exactly what the Padres brought him in to do. It's exactly what he did. Got on base a ton. I think his OBP was over 1,000 at the end of spring training.
OPS.
Oh, I'm sorry. His OBP over 1,000 would be very good. Guys, 50 for 50 on base.
51 for 50.
You're not sending that guy down to AAA. His OPS, over 1,000. So, he did what he was supposed to do. This is the nature of this dirty, dirty business.
And again, like Paulie and I were talking about yesterday, just because Connor Joe is not on the team Thursday,
he may be there Saturday. You have no idea.
He could end up 155 games on the Padres roster this year. He will be a part of the Padres organization this year. They will need him. They will call him up. I can almost assure you of that. Does it suck after working so hard and having a good spring that you don't get to do the opening day line up, walk out to the foul lines, get introduced to your hometown team? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a rough go. But that's part of the deal. When you sign with a team that is, going for the playoffs and has a bunch of veterans competing for jobs, someone gets left out on opening day. You know
what's funny? Speaking of opening day, I was so excited for Brandon Lockridge to make the team. I really was. And we talked about that. How do you put Tyler Wade on a roster over Brandon Lockridge based on the skill set, based on what they bring? The only thing that Lockridge doesn't do that Tyler Wade did was play infield. But with an aged Jason Hayward playing left field, here's a question. Do you roll Lockridge out opening day, your starting left fielder, to play the lefty-righty matchup?
I've got some thoughts on that, and we will get to that after a quick check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic sponsored by Humboldt Casino. Crash the coastline, southbound 5, just past the San Onofre nuclear plant. Looks like emergency crews are on scene. Everything's over the right shoulder. Also traveling on southbound 125 before Hamishaw. Watch out for some debris reported in the slow lane. Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego with the all-new Humboldt Casino Resort, where you can play your heart out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. Opening this summer, Humboldt Casino Resort, the player's place. Learn more at HumboldtCasino.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So I was right yesterday. I made the argument that the final roster spot, it made the most sense for the Padres to go with Brandon Lockridge.
Sure.
With Jose Iglesias already able to back up in the infield, they needed someone who could play the outfield. Brandon Lockridge had a phenomenal spring and earned his spot on the team. In fact, if you listen to Mike Schilt, and this is what he had to say yesterday about Brandon Lockridge making the team, you tell me if you think he's going to start on opening day against the Braves on Thursday.
Brandon Lockridge, what kind of value does he bring in terms of all the different things that he can do? Obviously playing, but also coming off the bench and doing bags.
Yeah, good for Locke. He's making his first opening day, and he's more than earned it. And what can he do? The one way I've been taught to think about, rosters is how does the player beat the other team? And in simple terms. And so the thing about Locke is, he can do it a lot of different ways. He's clearly can run. He's a plus, top of the scale runner. And it's good that he can run, but it's only as good as its application, right? And so he's a really good outfielder. He takes good routes. He can play all three outfield positions. You've noticed him a little bit more on the left recently. for obvious reasons.
Right.
So I'd expect him to get some opportunity, especially against lefties. But can clearly play center, uses the speed on the bunt game. And also, once he gets on, he's a fearless base runner. Not only capable of stealing a base, but also just a good base runner in general. So it helps a lot of different ways. And then, this guy's really had a good, productive offensive spring. Continues to get better, has a consistently good with his approach, uses the whole field. So he helps us a lot.
All right, so he's
Yeah.
going to get opportunities against lefties. We've been working him in left field for obvious reasons.
Right.
They're facing a lefty on opening day. I'd put 2 and 2 together, and I think Brandon Lockridge will be your at least opening day left fielder for the San Diego Padres this week.
I agree. And makes sense to me. Fine with me. Good for him. Got him for nothing from the Yankees. And again, really impressive spring. You love to see a guy earn his way onto the field, right? You really do. I fully expect Yuli Gurrel to hit a 2-run bomb off of Chris Sale, just to shut everybody up, myself included, on opening day. I'm assuming he'll be the opening day designated hitter, if I had my guess. And man, Elias Diaz rounding it out at the bottom of the order. I mean, it's Diaz, Lockridge, and Gurrel, some order, 7, 8, 9. It's not the most confidence-inspiring bottom of the order I've ever seen, but here's your soup, here's your spoon, time to eat. I mean, this is what it is.
Yeah, the other name that had some people up in arms yesterday was Martin Maldonado.
That's a tough one for me too.
The 26-man roster as a backup catcher.
I mean, look, he can't catch, and he can't field, and he can't hit.
It's more of an indictment on the catching situation as a whole than it is on Martin Maldonado. He is who he is.
Yeah, I mean, but
if anybody, we should be more upset at Campusano.
Correct. Like, how do you not snatch how do you not snatch that gig from that guy? And again, I know Schilt praises Maldonado. He said he's basically the closest to Yachty that I've ever seen as far as knowing the game. Well, that's great. That's great. He should be a coach. He's old. He's not good anymore. He should be a coach. Time to hang him up. And, but again, it does speak of what they think about Luis Campusano if you can't beat out Martin Maldonado. So I felt bad for him. But again, I'm like, this guy's gotten so many opportunities to take the next step. And
did go 2 for 2 yesterday, I believe.
Of course. Pressure's off at this point.
Made the team.
Yeah.
2 for 2.
Yeah.
I think doubled his entire spring training output of hits.
Yeah, man. Just but it's funny. I have seen people saying, and I thought they were insane. And I thought, we're going to see Ethan Salas this year. We're going to see that dude this year at the big league level. If he even hits a little bit, wherever they put him, where are they going to start him? Single A?
Double A.
Double A?
Yeah.
If he hits even a little, that dude's your catcher at second. Maybe not second half of the season, but in the second half of the season, you will probably see Ethan Salas make his debut.
I made it as a joke when we were talking. Somebody in
you made it as a joke like 3 months ago.
A couple months ago, somebody did their bold predictions, and we were going through some of them. And I think somebody said it was ESPN, Jesse Rogers or whoever was like, "Oh, Leo DeVries will play for the San Diego Padres in 2025." And I was like, "Bro, the way it's looking, like Ethan Salas is going to play."
Yeah, for real.
Padres.
I mean, that's how people.
And it's not as much of a joke anymore.
If he just hits a little bit, I really think that's probably the move later in the year, which is insane.
The final bullpen spot is the only thing we're not sure of, although the Padres did option Ron Marinaccio down to AAA, which leaves them really with just two choices, Logan Gillespie or Jose Nunez or Juan Nunez, the Rule 5 pick. And the thinking right now from the people who are covering the team is that Gillespie, Mike Shell had some nice things to say about Logan, and seems like he's got the upper hand to be the long guy in the bullpen to start the season for the Padres.
And so they'll let Nunez go back to
Chicago, go back to whatever. Seattle?
Chicago?
Can't remember where they
Kolick
him
was
from,
Seattle
yeah,
last year.
That's true, yeah.
I think it's the Cubs.
Whoever they are, maybe the Cubs, yeah. They'll have to offer him back for $50,000, I think, is they paid $100 to get him, give him back for $50. So you take that L, and you're not going to have a Rule 5 pick on the team this year.
Orioles.
We were all wrong.
Just
all right.
Keep guessing until you get it.
So those were the final decisions. They don't have to actually announce the 26-man roster until Thursday morning. So we'll get the final word then, along with the opening day starting lineup. But sounds like they've made their choices.
Wonder how T-Wade's doing. Probably not good.
Sounded like it was tough. I mean, You know,
They
she'll
love that
talk
guy,
about
man.
it and said how hard it was to talk to him and not have him in
Oh,
camp yesterday. Now, will he pass through waivers? Is there a chance that he remains with the Padres organization?
Potentially.
It's possible.
Yep.
It's possible, but not guaranteed. All right, so that's some Padres talk. We will get into the bad news for the Aztecs yesterday and more coming up next year on The Fan.
Oh, it's heated, man. It's heated. Not in here, not at each other, but it's just heated out in Aztecs land right now, man. So heated. I saw this news yesterday, right when I landed in Denver. The news, Benny, that Magoon Gwath is entering the portal. And, man, you saw some pretty outrageous reactions yesterday to this. It's a bummer.
I think, you're going to be bummed because we talked this season about, hey, if the Aztecs keep their guys together, they're looking like a potential top 25, maybe even top 15 team next year, fringe national championship contender. And you felt confident that Nick Boyd was definitely coming back. And if Magoon Gwath didn't get drafted, which was maybe my bigger concern, that he would be back as well. And now you're adding some pieces to it. Reese Waters returning. Things are looking very bright. The future is good for San Diego State basketball. And then you get the shocking news over the weekend that Nick Boyd, talked to his uncle and decided that the right thing for him to do is enter the transfer portal. And then yesterday, Magoon Gwath on the first day of the transfer portal opening submits his paperwork. And now all of a sudden it's rebuild time again for Brian Dutcher.
So the question I'll pose to the audience and to you guys as well, Paul, you're an Aztec, and so I saw a couple of interesting perspectives yesterday, man. The number one was, all right, we got to stop. Is the phrase Aztec for life now dead? Is that dead and gone? You come in, you play 1 year, you go on to bigger, better, greener pastures.
Lamont Butler will never have to buy a drink in San Diego ever again.
That's true.
He's an Aztec for life.
That's true.
Kawhi Leonard played here for 2 years. He's an Aztec for life.
He's an Aztec for life. Is it? Because Lamont didn't finish here, obviously.
No, he came back for 1 year and
Kentucky
now
right now.
leading Kentucky.
Yeah. So people were really upset about that. Now, when you're basically a one and done, which is what Magoon's going to be, it's tough. I mean, I loved watching that kid play, and he's so fun to watch play. Such a good
really
basketball
fun
player.
center for Kansas or something.
Yeah. Some blue blood's going to snatch him up, and I guess the number that Dutch threw out was about $1.7 million from Magoon Gwath. And look, guys, I read this yesterday, and I went, "Oh, makes sense." His dad drives Uber. His mom is a custodian. Who am I to sit here and say, "Oh, no, bro, be loyal. You got to be
100%.
loyal." So my question is, who are we mad at?
Well, that's kind of what we were talking about it yesterday with Nick Boyd from Friday. And I'm like, dude,
where does the blame go?
How do you find the balance of being so in favor of these kids getting their bag?
Yes.
I mean, we're talking about $1 million.
All right,
for
Paulie,
this kid,
question.
but also hate the system and how it feels.
Not to cut you off, but should our anger be directed at San Diego State instead of the system? Like, if you wanted Magoon Gwath to stay here, you can find a way to give him $1.5 million.
You can't, though.
But
San Diego State does not have the revenues or the boosters to support that. They just don't.
No chance.
There's no chance. As
but
a
like
state
in theory,
school,
Kawhi Leonard could donate $1 million.
Kawhi Leonard could literally stroke him a check.
Magoon Gwath.
Correct.
No, he doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to. It's not his job. So, listen, the anger should not be placed at the kid, at his feet. I don't
even
think.
For the Aztecs fans who've made the argument that Magoon Gwath somehow owes Brian Dutcher and San Diego State something for giving him the chance. They found him. They offered him a scholarship early when he was injured.
Yeah.
Wasn't getting a lot of looks from everybody else. To help turn him into a great player. And, his freshman year helped him through his surgery last year when he redshirted. And for the Aztec fans who feel that Magoon Gwath owes San Diego State something for that, like another year, I'll listen to that argument. But if you really sat down, if you are the diehard Aztecs fan and you sat down with Magoon Gwath and it was your responsibility to advise him on what to do.
Correct.
And you said, okay, Magoon, here are your choices. You stay with San Diego State. I'm sure they're going to get you, $300,000 or $400,000 in NIL money, and you'll stay comfortable in this program with Brian Dutcher. He's been good to you. You like it here. You like your teammates. You have a chance to win next year. There's a lot of good for staying at San Diego State. Or you enter the transfer portal, and you're probably going to get north of 1 million, maybe up to 1.5, 1.7 million playing next season for a blue blood. So, 5 times what you'd get at San Diego State. And oh, by the way, you're not guaranteed to make a ton of money in an NBA career. This may be your, one and only opportunity to cash in and have life-changing money. Didn't grow up with money, obviously, at your home. Are you telling me you would say to Magoon, the right thing to do is to stay?
Yeah.
You wouldn't advise him?
You'd be a crappy advisor.
You'd be a terrible advisor if you told him to stay
advisor.
at San Diego State.
No doubt.
You'd be a terrible advisor.
I'm looking at our chat, and Kirsten, who we love, I see all the time in the chat, but I disagree. She says we want players that want to be here. That doesn't exist anymore. I don't really believe they're chasing the money, and that's not just in college. That's in
no
pro
one's
sports.
left San Diego State saying, I just didn't like the program.
Right.
I didn't like the coaches. No, I don't think there's ever been a single person who's left San Diego State. They've left for the money or opportunities elsewhere that they weren't getting because they weren't good enough at San Diego
Manny
State.
Machado says he loves it here and he wants to be here. It's because we offered him $300 million 6 years ago.
Yeah.
If the Twins offered him $400 million, he would have wanted to be in Minnesota.
He'd be a Twin.
That's just how it works. And we're talking about upwards of over $1 million difference in what San Diego State can offer him and what he's going to command now from a blue blood from Magoon Gwath.
And again, man, I think about
how do you say no to that?
I think about his dad driving Uber every day, and I think about his mom being a custodian. I think about being a kid that has an opportunity to give them some money to take care of his family. And of course that touches me, right? And I can't in good conscience say, well, but no, you have to stay for me. I really like watching you play. I'm not an alumni or anything, but it's not about us, and it's really not about the school anymore. And that is unfortunate. It's totally unfortunate. And then I read Brian Dutcher's quote, and it just slapped me into perspective. It says, I was just grateful to have him in the program. I like all the kids we have in our program. I like Nick. I like Magoon. I wish them all the best. There's no ill will. It's a new world. Financially, there's a lot of money out there. It's like a guy comes up in a corporation. You bring him in as an intern. He develops. He turns into a really good employee. Then he leaves for a better job for more money. How can you be mad at the guy? Yeah, you developed him, but he's good at what he does. And now he stepped out and decided he wants to do something financially. It's like if Paulie got an offer to go to Chicago for 5 times what he makes. You're not loyal to me, bro? Come on, dude. Everything we've been through, that makes me a terrible friend. That makes me a terrible mentor. That makes me a terrible everything.
I mean, what these kids are getting the chance to do.
You're not going to Chicago, though, by the way. It's too cold. You won't like it.
I wouldn't like it.
Yeah, you're not going to like it.
What
Stay
these
here.
kids get to do now, this opportunity to really cash in, and Magoon Gwath very well could have a good NBA career, not just an NBA career, but a good. And we don't know. He could also get hurt next year in the second week of the season. You just don't know.
How do you say
You got to
no?
get your bag. That's literally the American dream.
And
How do you say no?
Adam in the chat says, Ben, you're completely wrong when you say SDSU doesn't have the boosters. They most certainly do. They do. San Diego State basketball is a well-funded program compared to most of college basketball. But compared to the biggest schools, the Duke, Kentucky, Kansas, they're nowhere in the same neighborhood, and they will never be in that same neighborhood. And so they will always be vulnerable to getting players poached by the biggest schools that need, players like Nick Boyd and Magoon Gwath on their team. They're going to be vulnerable to that. Now, the flip side of that is Brian Dutcher is going out right now, and he's going to the Kennesaw states of the world and middle Tennessee states of the world that have even less money. And guess what? He's going to be taking their best players for San Diego State for next season, like he did with Jared Coleman-Jones the year before. The Aztecs will steal other teams' players, and they will get better that way, but they will also lose their players to the North Carolinas and Kansases and Dukes of the world. That is the new order of college sports.
Nick Boyd loses to San Diego State in the Final Four at FAU and is playing for the Aztecs the next year.
Correct.
And now he's often going to be on another even bigger team.
Yeah.
It's just the lower schools are the feeder to the San Diego States, and the San Diego States
are the feeders
to the big blue bloods.
I mean, it's literally like climbing the corporate ladder. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. You start as an intern, you work your way up into sales. And then you go from sales to management. And then from management, you're running an entire team. It's the way that it goes.
And Adam's arguing that some boosters are not donating. They don't like the administration. I'm sure that's true at every school. You could have complete buy-in from everyone at San Diego State. They will never, ever have the money of the level of, the Kentuckys, the North Carolinas, the Dukes. It's just a different world. It's a different conference. It's a different, Duke has an international fan base. They're drawing from so many more people and boosters than San Diego State can ever draw from. It's just not. It's apples and oranges when you're talking about the finances of San Diego State and other schools.
I don't even think the SEC basketball programs are currently getting a ton of money. Now, look, they have a ridiculous amount of resources just at the school, being those big like Auburn, Alabama, but all their money is still going to football. Their basketball teams aren't that much different from a school like a San Diego State.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what their NIL deals are at the
They have much more resources and
Sure.
much more loopholes to kind of figure out than San Diego State, of course. But like Alabama, Auburn, money's still going to the football program, and they're two of the best teams in the country.
Padre guy says this NIL situation will ruin the tournament. In a couple of years, NCAA basketball will be the MLB. No parity. It's already getting there. There is not a single Cinderella in the Sweet 16 this year. It's nothing but big name schools, and that is going to be more the trend. Now, there will be schools that break through every once in a while, and it's one game. That's always the great equalizer. You don't have to beat them in a 7-game series. You just have to beat them once. So you will still have some Cinderellas, but it's definitely changing the landscape of college sports, and the haves are getting richer. The have-nots are getting poorer, and the divide is increasing between the schools. And unfortunately for San Diego State, they're not on the right side of the divide. We've seen that in college football, less so in college basketball because you need fewer players, and Dutch is a good coach and they've done a good job.
And a good recruiter, yeah.
But they still are on the wrong side of the equation compared to the biggest schools.
Man, it's just it's like in baseball. If you have an owner like Peter Seidler that says, screw it. I'm not going to listen to you, Dick Manfart. I'm going to go do what I want to do. I want to spend where I want to spend. I realize I'm making you look bad. I'm sorry, Bob Nutting. Sorry. I'm going to spend. I've got money. I'm going to spend it. It takes one of those at your program to say, screw it. Let's go. Dutch, what do you need? What do you need to get the job done?
Yeah, I mean, if you find somebody like
Pickens
who's going to donate $20 million a year,
correct.
All right, fine, but
that's also like saying in baseball, everyone should just go out and find a Guggenheim, that allow and a $300 million TV deal that'll allow you to do whatever you want. You can swing and miss on a dozen players. You can start the season with 9 guys on the IL, and you're still deep as hell. Welcome to life, man. There's the haves, there's the have-nots. It sucks. It has taken joy away, I think, from a lot of sports fans. You do see a lot of sports fans now going, I gave up when the Chargers left here, you see, I gave up the NFL entirely. You have people now saying, I'm not going to watch the Aztecs anymore. I have a lot of faith that Brian Dutcher can put together a really good
argument
team.
is that the Aztecs are going to be okay. It just won't be with Magoon, Gwath, and Boyd. It'll be with other players. Yeah. I trust Dutch to find
and he's earned that
the
trust,
players to bring back and rebuild the program.
Is it going to be as good as you thought it might be?
Maybe not
2 weeks ago. Maybe not.
There's going to be a learning curve again, which is unfortunate because every year there's going to be that learning curve again, which makes it harder. The job has gotten harder, and I don't think Brian Dutcher or any other coach would deny that fact. One thing that Dutch does, though, he runs a good program, a respected program, and we've got Don't Do This coming up next. You can be a blue blood in college basketball and still step in it big time, like the University of Connecticut did over the weekend at the NCAA tournament.
Crazy.
We'll get to a little Don't Do This and more coming up next year with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. First, I'll talk about Prize Picks, and as we're watching college basketball, Prize Picks is an amazing way to increase your fun and enjoyment as you're watching all kinds of sports. Set your lineups, pick your favorite players on your favorite teams, and then simply do some stat projections. They'll put the number out. You pick more or less. If it's 7.5 rebounds, 14.5 points, look at your favorite players, Cooper Flagg, Sears, any of the top college basketball players, they are there. And with baseball starting this week, Prize Picks is a great way to nightly, daily, put together lineups between 2 and 6 players and win up to 1,000 times your cash. They got 10 million members, billions of dollars in awarded winnings at Prize Picks. I've got a little chunk of that myself. I've been enjoying Prize Picks for the better part of a year now and would love you to join me on the app. Just download the app at prizepicks.com and use the code KWFN to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's code KWFN to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. It's Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details. Don't Do This is brought to you by Trust and Will. Don't leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die. Do set up a trust or will online at trustandwill.com. This is a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. All right, we'll start with a college basketball story that says even if you've got a top program, you can still step in it like the UConn Huskies did over the weekend. Their streak of 2 straight titles, 13 straight wins in the NCAA tournament came to an end with the loss to Florida. Good game on Sunday morning, 77-75. There were some questionable calls, as there are in any close college basketball game. And afterwards, in his official, press conference, Danny Hurley, I thought, did a fairly good job of handling himself. He was emotional, kind of went some viral video. But
yeah, I saw that.
A second viral video showed that he wasn't quite as composed as he walked off the court. A reporter named Joey Ellis from Raleigh had a video of Hurley walking off the court, and as the next team, Baylor, is walking on to play the next game, you can hear and see Danny Hurley talking about the refs. I hope they don't bleep you like they bleeped us, Baylor. I really hope they don't.
Wow.
Screaming, complaining. Stephen A. called, he's a sore loser, essentially. He was a sore loser as he walked off the court, blaming the officials. Now,
maybe it is a hot take by me, but everybody was ripping Dan Hurley. You can't have it both ways. You can't be that emotional. I'm like, bro, who among us has not gotten screwed over by a ref, whether you're watching the game or playing the game, and said the exact same thing?
I have never yelled at an official.
Honestly, I'm not really that upset about Dan Hurley. The Don't Do This story goes to the SID, the Director of Communications for the UConn Huskies, who saw this video posted and threatened the reporter, Joey Ellis, telling the reporter that he would ruin his life if he did not take the video down because it made his coach
said, "I'll ruin your life.
Look back, I'll ruin your life if you don't." This video has already gone viral. We can't unring the bell, but it's not. He didn't do anything wrong. Danny Hurley was in a public area. Yeah. There are reporters around. There's cameras all around. He's doing his job. He's posting the video of Danny Hurley. It's, it was going to get some attention and engagement.
That's quite a get.
This is how he is reacting as he walks off the floor. The Don't Do This goes to UConn for threatening a reporter simply for doing his job there. And now UConn's actually even being investigated over it, and there could be facing some disciplinary action.
Like more than just some disciplinary action. I'm talking about
extreme is
the extreme end of the stick here is that they won't get postseason ban, which I doubt it will happen.
Scholarship loss.
But they're showing that they're serious about this. You can't threaten reporters for just reporting a fact. He didn't lie. He has the video of exactly what happened. It was just the truth. Bad luck for the UConn Huskies.
Here's an update to a story we did all the way back in 2022. You may remember Cain Velasquez. Such a sad story, but there was apparently a child, somebody that was taking care of his 4-year-old son.
Cain Velasquez, UFC fighter.
Yeah, UFC champion Cain Velasquez was not somebody I would want to mess with ever. But this guy, Harry Galarte, Ben, was accused of molesting his 4-year-old son on about 100 occasions. Cain Velasquez hears this, sees red, tracks this guy down, fires several shots through the windshield from a .40 caliber handgun into the car that this guy was in, along with his mother and stepfather. Shot actually the stepfather in the arm, non-life-threatening injuries, but Cain Velasquez was arrested and now has been sentenced to 5 years in prison. He will be given credit for 3 years already served. I think he'll do 2 years, Ben. And he actually went on a podcast recently and he said this. He said, what I did was not correct. I understand that. I paid and I'll pay whatever else as far as I have to do to pay that all back. I don't think I can pay that back, but I can always learn from my mistakes and help others. He said, the way I handled things was not the way to do it. We cannot put the law in our own hands. It made me sick to my stomach as a father because I like anything, you put yourself right into his shoes. And I don't know that I would have the self-discipline to let the legal process play out either. I just don't, especially if there was, especially if I thought I had the proof of that. I don't know that I'm going to let the attorneys handle this one. I'm going to let the law handle it. I know that's not the right way to do it, but I think about my kids and How do I get money on this dude's books so he can buy himself some snacks? Because I like, in my opinion, he served 3 years. That should be it. Put an ankle monitor on him, call it a day.
I see Kurt in our chat. Well worth it, Kane. Can we agree why?
Yes, it's
why this is wrong. He ended up shooting not even the right
guy.
Could have killed someone. Could have killed an innocent bystander.
Correct.
This is the reason why you can't take the law into, even if you're right. You can't take the law into your own hands, or you can't at least do it recklessly. I mean, and you could always have been wrong. Could have been a case, mistaken identity. I mean, there's a reason why we have the processes in place, so people just don't get to decide to dispense their own justice. Do we all sympathize with Cain Velasquez 100%. Here? Of course we do.
It's a hell of a
case. It's a hell of a case, man. It really is.
Of course, you can't just start firing a gun randomly or whatever.
Also, that's Cain Velasquez. I would have just.
But if he got his hands on this dude,
forgive
he would have killed him.
He would have ripped. Yeah,
he would have killed him.
Now, do you believe what he said on the podcast is how he feels, or was he simply going for a reduced sentence by showing contrition?
Honestly, like
remorse for what he did.
Because here's what happens now: his son, and he's got other kids as well, but now his son has already been without his dad for a few years, and now his son's going to be without his dad for another couple of years, while that guy was on probation and will be set free after he finishes his probation. So it really is the worst case scenario. Your son still got abused. He's still going to be scarred for life.
Kurt says, how much jail time did the sex offender get?
Correct. None.
He's a free man.
And that is, it just makes me sick. It makes me sick to my stomach. I'm so uber paranoid of it. You have no idea. Like the vetting that goes on in my life with my kids, because it's so hard to come back from that. It really is. And so it just trust no one as it pertains to your kids.
I know I'm sure jail is not easy for anyone.
For him, it will be fine.
I doubt Cain Velasquez is going to have to worry too much about guys messing with him.
They always say too, like, hey man, you're a big guy. Somebody's going to come for you. And that I've seen enough jail shows that may be the case. He's not worried about it. Also, he beat up or tried to kill a pedophile. Celebrate you in prison for that. But man, it is okay. JW says he's about to go to court, but he's been out. This guy with an ankle monitor.
The legal process is slow. Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating. It's
tough. Dude.
We actually have an update. Somebody's listening live. Our in-house attorney, friend of the program, he just texted me and he said he's been on house arrest since 22. He shouldn't have to serve much actual time left.
Okay.
He certainly will not the full 5 years.
Right.
So,
man,
hopefully, I guess not as much time left.
It's so sad.
He's already been in there for 3 years.
Yeah, it's tough. That's really, really tough. But good luck to him.
Finally, terrible story that did lead to a doo-doo this moment.
DD mega doo-doo.
Talked to the beginning of the show. Last night, Juju Watkins, USC sophomore star, mega college basketball star on the women's side. Just devastating injury. You could tell it was probably ending her season in the first quarter yesterday against Mississippi State in the second round of the NCAA tournament. She was writhing on the court for a few minutes and then had to be carried off the court into the locker room, crying. Just awful for college basketball. The USC Trojans, though, at least for one night, absolutely had her back. And without their star player, still went on to destroy Mississippi State. They won by 40 some odd points. And after the game, I thought the coach, Lindsey Gottlieb of USC, now they didn't know the results of the MRI yet from Juju Watkins, but listen to her speech to her women's basketball players after the game last night. This is good coaching.
No matter what. And I am so grateful. You guys had my back. You had each other's back. You had Ju's back. The fans had your back. We were a team. We were drop, and then the tidal wave ocean came. And I will never forget this game for as long as I live. It's a big deal to go to the Sweet 16. We are going to Spokane. We are going as a team. If Ju can play, we got to bring the energy and the fight and say we don't change our goals, right? But we give a little extra energy, for what she would bring, but also just to say anytime we're man down, we step up for one another because that's who we are. Right?
Huge.
Isn't that amazing?
Huge.
I mean,
Love it.
well, that's some coaching right there. You lose a player like that.
That's
and
tough, man.
Try to use it to bring your team together. I don't know if USC has a chance now without their star. It's only so much you can do with emotion and teamwork when you're missing one of the best players in college basketball, if not the best player in college basketball. But that was some coaching by Lindsey Gottlieb last night.
No question. Any relation to Doug Gottlieb?
No, I don't believe so.
That makes
Same,
sense.
college basketball, yes, but she's from New York. I looked it up, and I don't believe they are of any relation.
All right.
And that is Don't and Do This for a Tuesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, when we come back, it is opening week. Padres season gets underway on Thursday. We'll talk more about the roster battles that we got into yesterday, and we'll get you ready to hear from the CEO, Erik Greupner, who's going to join the program, talking about some of the changes at Petco Park, what's going on in the front office. That is all coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, my friends, it is Woodsy. Wanted to tell you about Loan Pronto. They will take good care of you. If you're a homeowner, you want to listen up, what could you do with an extra $75,000 in your pocket right now, even a couple $100,000? If you do own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. They are the leader in quickly converting your home's equity into cold, hard cash. Pay off your credit cards, start that home remodel. And Loan Pronto, they got several easy options to let you access the cash from your home's value. Virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, oftentimes no appraisal. Average homeowner right now has over $300,000 in equity. That is your money. Use it. All right. You can get it approved in as little as a day. So act now with no hard credit pull up front. Their number is 619-207-4336. LoanPronto.com can get you started as well. Get the money that you need for anything at all. 619-207-4336. Or once again, LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Don't forget, coming up this Thursday, you can join us 97.3 The Fan at Baja Rick's for our opening day party, 176th Avenue across from the Hard Rock, as we celebrate the start of a new season. We're going to broadcast live starting at 6 a.m. and then Braden will be on until noon, leading into our pregame show with Sam Levitt. We'll have deals on Coors Light, Blue Moon, and Topo Chico, plus a special breakfast menu and $10 footlong TJ Dogs, as well as special Blowfish Tequila Premium Margaritas. Join 97.3 The Fan at Baja Rick's from 6 a.m. to noon this Thursday for opening day. We had a really good turnout last year. I would like to see an even better turnout this year.
That's what
Weather seems to be trending pretty good. It's going to get cooler tomorrow, I hear.
Somebody tweeted the other day, oh, it's nice to see that the marine layer has made its way back into San Diego for opening day.
We're not that far away from May gray
I
and
know.
June gloom. We're not quite there yet, but definitely heading in that direction. And, depress the power numbers at Petco Park for the first couple of months of the season. You know it's coming. But we'll be at Baja Rick's this Thursday. And don't forget, you're listening for our sounder to call in. When you hear our sounder for the day, that would be Don Orsillo's Merrill Madness. When you hear it, be the fifth caller, 833-288-0973. I don't know when Paulie's going to play it. That's up to him. And it's up to you to call in and be the fifth caller to win tickets to opening day for the Padres from 97.3 The Fan. So good luck with that. We've got Erik Greupner, who's going to be joining us at the top of the hour. I'm sure we'll get into some of the changes at Petco Park, new food items and stuff. But I think we're all curious as well. A little bit of a surprise this offseason. We talked about it yesterday a bit, but with the decisions that the Padres made on their roster this weekend, and that was Gavin Sheets on the 40-man, Yuli Gurrel on the 40-man, Jose Iglesias on the 40-man, Martin Maldonado on the 40-man. None of these guys individually are breaking the bank, but they now all get major league deals by making the 40-man. So, $1 million here, $3 million there, another $1 million there. All of a sudden, the Padres not only are over the luxury tax threshold, they were already there to start the offseason, but they've actually climbed above the second level of the luxury tax, which is, I believe, $20 million after the initial level. So you get taxed 20% on the first $20 million.
We went over the tax for Gavin Sheets, Martin Maldonado.
And now you
Gurrel.
get taxed 32% on every dollar over the second threshold. Now I think they're only a couple million over that. So even 32% is another, 400,000 or something.
Okay.
But they're probably going to pay. I mean, if the payroll stayed where it is, probably end up paying about $5 million in luxury taxes in addition to the roster.
Funny money anyway at this point, I guess. I don't know. All right.
I mean, is that
that doesn't seem like that big of a deal as we make it out to be?
Like going over.
Yeah.
But what does Ben always say? If you're going to go over, go over.
And they're going over now.
But if you're going to go over and for.
Well, and my argument yesterday was if you knew you were going to go over and be 20 million plus over, I didn't just sign Kyle Higashioka at the start of spring trade or at the start of the offseason. And my speculation, and I don't know if we'll ever get the true story, is that perhaps the uncertainty at the beginning of the offseason with the ownership and everything, that because Kyle signed so quickly, that may have impacted back then. Whereas if he had been later and all right, here's where we are, might as well get a catcher that we know and bring him back at a position that is really the biggest question mark for the Padres going into the season.
And again, we have no idea the discussions that went on between Higgy and his agent and everything else. Hey man, there's an opportunity in Texas. It's for, what was it, $6.5 million or something like that? Nothing crazy.
6.5 and 5.5 or something like that.
Yeah, nothing nuts at all. 11, 11.5 or 11 the total. Nothing crazy at all. It happened so early, though. It did kind of lead you to believe of all right, what does Higgy know that makes him want to get out of here so quickly? Did Higgy not want to be one of those guys sitting there 2 weeks left in spring training without a gig and said, oh, what are they offering? All right, yeah, I'll take that. I like it here, but I haven't heard from them. I'll give them a chance to match. Now they don't know if they're interested. Yeah, I mean, when they didn't re-sign Higgy, I go, what do they have up their sleeve? Well, they had Martin Maldonado and Elias Diaz up their sleeve. And hopefully, Diaz carries the bulk of the load.
There's definitely a
it could have been, oh no, Campy's going to break out this year. We know it. It's finally going to happen. Luis Campusano is ready to go, and he's going to snatch that backup job and run with it.
There is definitely a trend, though, in this Padres roster going into the season with guys like Maldonado, Gurrel, and Iglesias. And Mike Schilt, admitted to it when he spoke yesterday about the construction of his team's bench going into 2025.
Yeah, no, it's we got a deep team. We got a good team. We've got options, which is always good, especially from my chair. But you've got veteran presence behind the plate. You got veteran presence in every component. So you talk about the bench. Yuli being on the club, World Series ring. You're talking about Maldi, 2 World Series rings. You're talking about guys that have been there, done that. Iglesias, big part of the club last year, the win National League Championship Series. Veteran guy, play over the field, super high baseball IQ like the other two. So we have a really smart and diverse group.
So, yeah, I mean, it's
aged. We're an aged group.
It's an older team. It's a veteran team. And there's definitely 2 ways to look at that. I've seen a lot of fans who go, we're old and washed up.
Yeah.
But we talked about this last week, Woods. The teams that generally do the best in the playoffs are the old teams. They're the ones with the experience that, have been there before and know what to, Now, will there be some injuries that you have to deal with over the course of a long season? Yes, but they also have depth. They have Connor Joe and Oscar Gonzalez in the minor leagues that they can bring up. They have guys that are, decent big leaguers that you're calling up. Like, remember last year when, they had a good season and they were calling up guys like Mason McCoy, and we're going, who's Mason McCoy? He was actually playing and starting in games later in the season,
getting tons of playing time.
They actually have a deeper team this year than they had last year, I would argue. Going into the 2025 season.
Yeah, again, I mean, we didn't know what Peralta was going to contribute. We didn't know what Donnie Barrels was going to contribit. They did. You're going to need that from Gavin Sheets.
I mean, neither of those guys were even on the team to start the season last year.
Right.
So,
yeah. You're going to need Gavin Sheets to hit. You're going to need Jason Hayward to rediscover the fountain of youth, a little bit. And look, I know it's a lot of ifs, but this is where we're at. And as I mentioned earlier in the show, had you read our bench to me on December 1st, somebody going, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. These guys are none of these guys are even going to get tendered a contract. And lo and behold, they made the team. So I'm hoping for the best, but again, like you said, there are still options in the minors, Ben, which is not really something we've had recently.
My other argument yesterday was to caution against panic for no reason, because the bottom third of the order is big question mark. You've got options. I don't know any of them are going to come through. Will Sheets or Gurrel come through at the DH? Maybe. I really doubt that any of the catchers are going to have an all-star type season. So that's probably a spot where you're worried about. But what teams out there, love their 8th hitter? I mean, what teams out there are relying on their 8 hitter to carry them to the playoffs? Because that's who we're really talking about here for the most part.
Alex says you guys love defending this team. I'm literally making fun of this team. As I speak right now, I'm making fun of the fact that our bench is like 75 years old to a man. I don't know what else. You're going to hear what you want to hear, but there's no...
The Dodgers are going to have like Andy Pajes hitting 8th, in some games. I mean, nobody's 8th hitter is supposed to be the best player in the league.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm really happy 1 through 6. I'm nervous 1 through 7 or 7 through 9. I feel like I'm nervous 7 through 9 every single year, though.
Most teams are.
Most teams are. But I like I just said, I'm really surprised that Gavin Sheets, Martin Maldonado, and Jason Hayward. I'm surprised that they're on this team. I really am. I'm fairly shocked that it happened. I'm fairly shocked.
Well, you can roll the dice with younger players and hope you really find something that is unexpected. The Padres did that with Jackson Merrill last year, and it worked out well. But you can also roll the dice with some older players, and they did that with Jurickson Profar last year, and it worked out incredibly well also. Are any of these guys going to have a Jurickson Profar-like season? I doubt it. That Jurickson Profar season was, remember, out of nowhere.
Yeah.
An all-star season in his 30s, out of nowhere. I would think that is an unrealistic ask, but you don't need your 7, 8, 9 hitters to be all-stars. You need them to keep the lineup moving occasionally, run into a home run or two every once in a while. And then, it's the guys in the top 6 that have to carry your team. Padres have a really good top 4. They got a 5 and a 6 that you're hoping, in Jake and in Xander, they can have better seasons than they did last year, which is definitely possible. And if all that happens, the bottom third is not a huge difference. You just don't want them to be horrific. You don't want 3 guys who are all hitting 140 at the end of your lineup, because then you've got a black hole.
It's such a possibility.
You can have one guy who's
It's
hitting
such a
150.
possibility.
I mean, most teams will, but you can't have 3. You need to find out of Sheets, Gurrel, out of Iglesias. Someone has
somebody's
to
going to have a good
season.
year. Yeah, no doubt. A Frenchie M wants us to keep it in perspective. He says any of the Padres bench players could be starters on my Angels team. I don't know if that makes me feel much better because, again, you want this team to be in contention. And, again, I'm not going to flip out right now. We haven't even played one game yet. So it's going to look different halfway through the season. It's going to look different at the end of the season. That's one thing I can assure you. It always does with AJ Preller teams. Always.
All right. We talked a little bit about the starting rotation. We can get into more of that before Erik Greupner joins us. First, though, let's check traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic is sponsored by your local San Diego County, the UPS stores. Well, some trouble for you out of the South Bay, northbound side of the 805 near Orange Avenue. Vehicle went up the right shoulder embankment. Another crash reported right around H Street. It's over the right shoulder. And now getting reports of a collision north 805 near 43rd. Several vehicles involved. Got the slow lane blocked. And southbound side of the 805 near 47th. An accident involving several vehicles. This one appears to be blocking the left lane. In the North County, dealing with a collision on southbound at 15 before Via Rancho Parkway. It's mostly over to the right shoulder. Your local San Diego County, the UPS store locations are hosting a shred event from April 7th through April 15th. 50% off shredding services. Visit theupsstore.com for the location nearest to you. See store for details. And Kelly Danek with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Now, we didn't get any explanation from Mike Schilt about the starting rotation because that news came after they had already left Peoria and broken camp. So he'll talk about that, I presume, tomorrow when the team hosts a workout at Petco Park that's open to the media. But when Stephen Kolek was sent down to the minors, I was a little surprised because I thought the competition was still going right to the last weekend. And if you look at the numbers of the last start between Kyle Hart and Stephen Kolek, Kyle Hart gave up 6 runs in his last appearance. Stephen Kolek pitched yesterday, 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs against the Seattle Mariners. However, I think the number that was big in those 2 starts for Hart, 0 walks. For Kolek, 4 walks.
Really? You think that was the difference?
I mean, if you're talking about razor thin margins, one thing that I've learned about Mike Schilt, walks drive him crazy.
Oh, that's every
pitcher, but
every manager.
And we talked to
That's
Sammy.
correct.
We talked to Sammy, and he said he went to that Kyle Hart game. So the numbers don't really tell an accurate picture. His defense let him down a couple of times. Had like a 2-out hit by pitch, and then like a wind-aided home run after that. It wasn't nearly as bad of an outing as 6 runs might indicate.
Which
Got
happens,
some swing and miss. He actually, they thought, had a pretty good outing, even though the numbers kind of lied about it. Kolek, meanwhile, did what he does. He had a lot of traffic, got a couple double plays to escape what could have been worse jams, put guys on base, was dancing around, and he'll probably end up starting some games for the Padres.
Oh, no question.
This year. But right now they're going to go with, Kyle Hart and
Lefty.
Randy Vasquez.
Yeah, lefty too. I mean, gives you a different look. You need that, but yeah, I mean, obviously pulling for all those guys. Want everybody to have a good season, but yeah, it's it is what it is at this point. Losing you, Darvish, really hurt. The length and depth of this rotation right now, but hopefully he can get back.
Yeah, and what the benefit of that is presumably Vasquez and Hart are kind of in a still continuing competition for the first couple of starts of the season. Whoever performs well gets to stay in the rotation when Yu Darvish returns. The other guy probably heads back to AAA to keep working on stuff and get a call up later in the year. So you'll end up with you'll see which guy is better. You'll know after the first couple of weeks. All right, Randy Vasquez off to a great start. He's locked in his spot. Yu's back. Hey, Kyle, we'll call you up again maybe later in the year, or vice versa. Kyle Hart pitches like a Choi Dong-won winner early in the season, and
Hey, you
Randy
remembered
Vasquez is. I totally made that up. I could be 100% wrong on that.
I thought you just nailed that. Is that what it's called? The Cy Young in Korea?
I have it.
If you got that right, I'm going to be very
Let's
impressed.
see. Padres. Who did this?
Kyle Hart,
Kyle
winner
Hart,
of the Korean Cy Young, also known as the
Choi Dong-won Award. Very good.
The guy's unbelievable. It's like a steel trap. He is. I couldn't remember that with a gun to my head.
And if he gets off to a hot start, then maybe Randy Vasquez heads back to AAA when Yu Darvish returns, or reality, someone else kind of gets hurt, and it's a revolving door in the starting rotation.
The cure for, and again, I've seen all kinds of theories about Kolek going down too. It's they want to continue to watch his innings and this, that, and the other. And look, I don't know. I mean, he's not your hot young prospect, Ben, that you need to baby him and make sure that he's good to go second half of the season. Also, sending a guy down to El Paso to pitch doesn't really do wonders for their confidence or certainly their numbers either. So it's a tough putt for him, man. It really is. It's a tough go for Kolek, who I thought pitched well enough. But again, they're going to go with the lefty. They're going to go with Vasquez. They like what they've seen. They trust Randy after last season as well. So we knew that when we sat down with Schulte at FanFest. He was raving about, did y'all know he started 20 games? Oh, wow, you're right, man. So this is what they're going to do. This is what they're going to do. This is what we are. This is what we're going to watch.
And they haven't announced the order. We do know it's Michael King on Thursday, Dylan Cease on Friday. It's not Nick Pivetta on Saturday. He's probably going to pitch Sunday in the Sunday night games. My guess would be Vasquez as the third starter and Hart as the fifth starter on Monday against the Guardians. And then you reset for Tuesday and Wednesday with King and Cease, and then you have your first day off before you hit the road.
One day at a time, my friend. One day, one game, one inning at a time. That's how this season's going to go for me. Just win today. That's it.
All right. Erik Greupner, the CEO of the San Diego Padres.
It's been a minute.
Beginning of the season. Check in with Ben and Woods coming up in our next segment.
It's a yearly tradition.
Yeah, it is. And it should be. There's a lot of changes at Petco Park, some new food options that were announced, some new initiatives that the team is unveiling. And, Greupner's taken a bigger role, obviously, since the passing of Peter Seidler. He's had to kind of try to keep things together. And for the most part, after last season, he has kept things together. Padres still moving in the right direction. We'll see what happens this year, but we'll talk with Erik Greupner, CEO, coming up next to start hour number 3 of Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, my friends, we are halfway home on a Tuesday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Great to be here with you. Let's get right to it. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul. That's Ben. You know how we do it here. Let's get right to the CEO, Erik Greupner.
Yeah, standing by as we get ready for opening day on Thursday. We are joined by the CEO of the San Diego Padres, Erik Greupner. Erik, happy opening week to you. It's always good to have you back here on 97.3 The Fan.
Happy opening week, gentlemen. Great to be back with you. It's been a bit.
It's been a bit.
It has.
So last year, I remember you guys were putting the finishing touches on all the renovations to Gallagher Square, like right up to the last minute.
Yeah.
Like, right before the park opened.
We had all that rain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Now, this year, are we going to be cutting it quite as close for some of the renovations for the Western Metal Supply Company? Or are we good to go for opening day?
Some fewer heart palpitations, less anxiety this year. We are coasting into the finish line here. We actually had a grand open on Saturday for the Western Metal Building. Great event. It was really awesome to have some of our fans out and give them an opportunity to witness the new team store, the completely renovated Bud Loft, transformed rooftop. Those two spaces are now connected. We cut a sunroof in the top of the Western Metal Building, built a grand staircase, and now we can have groups of 1,000 or more that can come out for private events and games and be in that space that's kind of tied together. So yeah, everything's pretty much done. Some punch list stuff. You always have little finishing touches 72 hours out, but we're going to be ready to rock. 1:10 p.m. on Thursday, opening day against the Braves. Their season was ended at Petco Park in the postseason last year, so I know they're going to come back and healthier and hungry, and so it should be a great 4-game opening series against two really good teams that I expect may be playoff teams this year and competing for a World Series championship out of the National League. So hope fans get an opportunity to come out to one of those 4 games, and if not, we've got plenty of additional options coming up with the season underway.
And you talk about heart palpitations, Erik. It's one of those things. It's that thing that accompanies a baseball season. And, you work yourself in a tizzy about who's playing where and who made the team and who didn't. And are we going to let this guy go or that guy go? And, the hope has been springing eternal, though, in San Diego. And I think it probably comes with the weight of expectations, right? After a great season last year that, and I'd never asked you how you felt about this, but we've spent a lot of the offseason talking about how the Dodgers were like, actually, every other team was really easy to beat. It was the Padres that were worried. And I haven't been able to reconcile that. How do you, as the CEO, how have you done with that this offseason?
Yeah, it's been tough, right? I mean, on one hand, you take it as a compliment. On the other hand, it reminds you of how close this team was last year to breaking through and winning the first World Series championship in the history of San Diego.
Yeah.
And that is, make no mistake, that's our goal. And that remains the same. It hasn't changed one bit. Every morning we wake up, we are more driven than ever to figure out how to win a World Series championship for our fans and for the city. So last year was tough. It was tough the way it ended. It was a team last year that, one of the really consistent aspects of last year's team was the ability to score runs. And, we were really good at that. And we didn't have during the regular season many, if any, stretches like we had in the postseason in those last few games against the Dodgers. And, credit to them. They figured out how to suppress, our offense long enough to win that series. And then they went on and won the World Series. And credit to them, but we got to figure out how to beat them. And we get another shot this year, and we're ready. And, so yeah, I didn't love it. I didn't love, it didn't make me feel great at the end of the day that it was a compliment. I think it was a genuine, sincere compliment. And
Sure.
There's a ton of respect between our two franchises. It's a great Southern California rivalry that really over the last several years has been elevated above even that of the Red Sox Yankees in the sport of baseball. And all eyes have been on Southern California, even when we began the season last year in Seoul, Korea against each other. We got the better of them during the regular season, but that doesn't mean a thing if you can't get past them in the postseason. So we're going to try to figure out how to do both this year.
Talking to Padres CEO Erik Greupner. And Erik, biggest change to the Padres front office this offseason, the approval of a new control person in John Seidler. Now, saw the one interview that he did during spring training, but for fans who are wondering, you work closely with him. I think they want to know, who is John Seidler. What can you tell us about him? We got to know and love his brother Peter, obviously, over the years. What can you tell us about John?
Yeah, John is a huge baseball fan. He's a huge Padres fan. He and his wife Lori moved to San Diego. This is their home. They were at a lot of games over the last, really decade plus. He's been a part of the ownership group since 2012. Obviously been more in the background supporting, his brother Peter over all those years. The oldest sibling in what is a very large Seidler family, and somebody who had a tremendous amount of respect from Peter. And I've really grown to respect and love working with John as well. And so I think Kevin Acey wrote a really great piece that kind of profiled the substance of who John is. But John's not about John. John's about the Padres. John's about us trying to put a consistently winning team on the field and break through and win our first World Series championship. He shares Peter's vision. He understands Peter's vision. He's stepping in with a high level of comfort and experience with the current leadership team, having been a part of the ownership group since 2012, and really completely aligned with what we've been doing for the last several years and what we want to continue to do, which is put a winning playoff caliber and championship caliber team on the field every year. So, I think if the fans have enjoyed what's been going on the last few years with the Padres, it's going to be more of the same. And I think the calling card for John's leadership style is quiet confidence, hard work, smart, very experienced business executive. And I think we're really fortunate that he is able to step in and really, have a seamless transition.
It's got to be daunting too for, to take over in the shoes of Peter Seidler. I know they share the same last name and the same vision and all that, but it does have to be daunting because at the end of the day, people are going to be coming to him saying, no, I mean, we need to spend X to get X. How do you feel that's going to go moving forward? I mean, we were just talking about a little bit over the luxury tax, the second level right now. Erik, when you guys look at, hey, I know you have to have a plan many years down the road, but when you look at it right now, do you foresee the Padres staying competitive payroll-wise?
I mean, that's certainly the plan. I mean, we had a long-term plan that we initiated years ago, and we're exactly where we had hoped to be in terms of payroll this year. And that was a plan that was developed under Peter's leadership, and we've been executing against it consistently for the last several years. And we're going to continue to execute against that plan. Tomorrow's not guaranteed to any of us in any aspect or regard, including, a continued level of fan support that we've had and really benefited from these last several years. I mean, our fans, I just want to pause there and make sure this message gets across loud and clear. We have the best fans in baseball. We could not be more grateful for our fans for the level of support that they've brought, the passionate energy and electric environment that they create at Petco Park. And we absolutely want to put everything that we can into this team from a payroll perspective every year with the goal of remaining as competitive as possible and winning a World Series championship. So, what is that going to look like in the years to come? I hope it continues to go to form and continues to be consistent with the plan that we've set to remain competitive year in and year out. I think we have everything that we need to be able to do that, but we've got to continue to execute. We've got to put a team on the field that can play winning championship caliber baseball. We've got to continue to deliver an exceptional fan experience at Petco Park. We've got to continue to grow our business in a lot of different areas, increasingly outside the four walls of the ballpark with our events business, which is a big part of our ability to support payroll. And, we've got to execute at a really high level. That's on us. And then we hope, and I do expect, that our fans are going to continue to support this team. And as long as we get that love and support, and as long as we execute well, I think we can continue to be a very competitive team year in and year out. That's the plan. That's the intention. But we got to work for it. And we need the continued support of our fans. And I expect that we will get that.
Now, well, the fans are doing their part, Erik, for sure. But that's only part of the revenue equation in baseball. We all know that TV money is another big factor. Some teams have a lot, others don't. So what's the update on the Padres in terms of a TV deal where fans are going to be able to see the games this year? And if you see any of that changing between, the big discrepancies between teams like the Dodgers and Mets versus, smaller market clubs like the Padres?
Yeah, so two-part question. Let me take it in both parts. Start with the the update going into opening day, we expect that our games are going to be available on all of the local cable satellite streaming options that we had available last year. When we moved to MLB Media, that was a huge silver lining in the cloud of, RSN bankruptcy that led us to that point. And the silver lining is that for the first time, we had a streaming option in market without local market blackout. And we led all Major League Baseball teams last year with over 47,000 paid subscribers. So I think that's proof positive that in our market, that's a product type that our fans highly value. They love the flexibility of a month-to-month commitment and the ability to watch Padres games without a local market blackout, with the exception of, national TV games that are picked up. So, Padres.com/tune-in is going to be the same landing page that we've used for the last couple of years to educate our fans on exactly where they can watch the games and what channels to go to. So we'd encourage fans to continue to stay dialed into that as we approach Thursday. And then we do anticipate sometime after opening day being able to give some specifics on a first time ever package of games that'll be available OTA free of charge, both in San Diego and in the northern Baja California region. So we're excited for that, which is going to expand our reach and make our games more available to fans than they ever have been before. Sort of the larger question that you posed regarding where do we go as an industry with, as you appropriately observe, a huge discrepancy between the media revenue that's generated in some local markets versus others. That's a league level question. That's one that I'm not going to get too deep into right now. It calls into question, future CBA negotiations and strategy at a level that's above my pay grade. I'm a part of those conversations, but not in a position to speak on them definitively. But I do think that you see some pretty extreme discrepancies that lead to competitive advantages and disadvantages across markets. And I do think for our game to be the very best it can be in the intermediate and long term, we need to find solutions to that. And I am optimistic that if solutions come, the Padres are going to benefit more than any other market and any other team.
I like that.
Erik, before you go, I know the Padres announced some new food options at Petco Park. Now,
did my beloved Grandel move out to Gallagher Square? I need to know that. Is that?
Well, let's hear from Erik
let's
about
hear
some
from
of the changes. I mean, it's way beyond hot dogs and peanuts and Cracker Jack. I've heard lobster rolls and everything else. So what is new? What are you excited about in terms of the food options this season at Petco Park?
All right, let's get to the good stuff. So you guys start early enough. This probably feels like lunchtime.
Sure. Yes, we can eat. Yeah.
Awesome.
We can eat.
All right. So what we've done for the better part of a decade at Petco Park has become known, I think, deservingly so, for the best venue in professional sports when it comes to our food and beverage offerings. And, you got to stay on top every year by bringing in some new concepts. So we're really excited. We have some great new concepts that are coming in this year. Drew Deckman. Have you guys ever been to Deckman's before?
No.
In Baja? Okay. He's got a restaurant that he opened up here in San Diego as well. So Drew Deckman, Michelin star chef, amazing chef, huge Padres fan. We're going to launch Deckman's at the Draft this year. So the Ballast Point Draft is now going to serve up some pretty awesome offerings, very fresh seafood based. So Drew's a huge culinary talent. I think fans are really going to enjoy what we're going to offer in the draft. We also have some new partners coming in this season, the Mini Donut Company. Donut Worry Be Happy. That's pretty awesome. Moster Coffee, so both hot and iced coffee. And I think fans are going to love that. And then for the first time, we're going to have a boba tea concept and teaspoon boba teas out in Gallagher Square. And then all the favorites, Grand Ole Barbecue being one of them, are going to continue to be available at Petco Park, along with Puesto, Board and Brew, Tri-Tip Nachos, Cardiff Tri-Tip Nachos. I'm sitting in Cardiff right now watching the surf break down at Pipes and Swami's. So, a great San Diego original. And, we're also going to bring in some new in-house concepts, including that lobster roll that you mentioned, some sliders, different slider concepts, new Santa Maria grill that we're going to be cooking up on. So no shortage of great things to eat and drink at Petco Park this season. And we're going to have a great food guide as well, both hard copy and through the Ballpark app that fans can follow to discover everything that Petco Park has to offer. Gates will open at 11 o'clock on Thursday, so would encourage fans to come out early, explore all the great food and beverage options, including some of the new stuff that I just mentioned. Make sure you get in your seats by 12:30 for a 1:10 first pitch so you don't miss any of the pregame pageantry that comes with opening day.
You know, Eric, if you'd like to take the three of us down to Deckman's in the Valle de Guadalupe for research
Special
purposes, I certainly wouldn't say no.
You know what? That sounds like a great road trip, boys.
Well, Eric, we look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Everybody's excited about opening day and the team this year. We appreciate your time, as always. Good luck to the Padres this season, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.
You got it.
Erik Greupner, CEO of the San Diego Padres, answering some of your questions, I think, about this upcoming season. Talked about the payroll, talked about John Seidler. Did not specifically address the TV discrepancy, and I'll tell you why, because I heard something this weekend. Apparently, and I won't ask Erik Greupner because he'd probably have to deny it. Apparently, Rob Manfred has threatened every single front office member in Major League Baseball with a $200,000 fine if they talk about essentially the CBA, negotiate, do anything to potentially wreck that while everything, they want to keep it behind closed doors. So other than generic comments,
tampering.
Yeah. He's basically saying, keep your mouth shut or you're going to be stroking out a check for $200,000 to everybody that works for Major League Baseball teams. That's what I heard over the weekend.
Wow.
So
Rob
Manfred is he's got his iron boot down on the rest of the owners to make sure that they don't get it talking out of school too much about what are probably going to be some pretty contentious negotiations with the players union over the next 2 seasons.
Because they already have been. The owners, that was the impetus for it, is that many owners like Dick Monfort in Colorado, he was speaking up about the haves and have-nots.
Probably had to stroke out a check.
Probably. Yeah. Or it was, hey, don't do what he did. Anybody that does this moving forward, time to write a check. But yeah, they're
going to be very quiet on those talks for at least the time being.
Well, it's probably in their best interest to be quiet right now. Yeah. So,
all right, we will react to what you just heard from the CEO, Erik Greupner. We also have a game of Take on Woods. You want to react for a segment first, and then
let's push.
Then we'll push Take on Woods to later in the hour, but we'll still play our game. Chance to qualify for Las Vegas. But I want to talk a little bit more about what we heard from the CEO. We will check traffic, and then we will be back right after this on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, I will tell you about SDFatLoss.com. Summer is approaching. I'm glad that I went through the program when I did. This year, don't have to worry about it. But if you feel like you've gained a few pounds over the winter and would like to feel better before you put on the T-shirts and the shorts and the bathing suits for summer, this is the time to start, because you can lose up to 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 60 days. So that means by the time the May Gray is here, you can be an entirely different body shape thanks to SDFatLoss.com and their proprietary strategies that tell you how to lose weight without shakes or bars or mixes, simply by eating regular foods like steak and chicken, fish and vegetables, and lose the weight fast, up to a pound of fat per day. I lost 40 pounds in 60 days. Tier 1s have lost tons of weight. Chris Ello and Matt Scraby lost almost 80 pounds combined in the afternoons. You can do it as well. If I can do it, I promise you can do this. And when the weight starts disappearing, it helps you stick with the program as well. No injections. You don't have to buy anything extra, just regular food and great strategies from your counselor. Find out how it works. Set up your free consultation at SDFatLoss.com. Take advantage of the spring special right now. Still get $200 off. Just do it today. Go to SDFatLoss.com. Set up your free consultation. SDFatLoss.com. Results may vary. Our thanks again to Padres CEO Erik Greupner. Don't forget, you're still listening for our Padres Sounder for your chance to call in and win opening day tickets. Got a pair up for grabs. Listening for Don Orsillo's Merrill Madness. Paulie plays it when he wants. When he does, there'll be the fifth caller at 833-288-0973 for your chance to win. I can't believe we were just talking to Erik Greupner. We were talking about the food. We didn't ask him about the rumor that was going around yesterday. But it turned out it was fake news anyway. So we can definitely report with authority. Padres are not getting rid of vendors at the ballpark. They will remain
actually increasing.
Walking, yes, even more on the 100 level. There will be plenty of vendors at the ballpark at Petco Park. I don't know where that started yesterday, but
I don't know.
There was definitely like social media talk that the Padres had decided to do away with, peanuts and Cracker Jack guys who were going around. You don't remember that guy? That was at the Q.
I was singing. I didn't live here.
Sing his peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
You were born and raised here.
I was.
So it's quite a skill. But when I saw it yesterday, I went, oh, so they're not going to be walking up and down the aisles. Why does that make me happy? And I thought I was like, I saw
Texas. You're like, people are losing their minds. That sounds.
I know,
like amazing.
Is that like a massively hot take that if that didn't happen, my ballpark experience would be improved?
I mean, it's 150 years of tradition of vendors at the ballpark. Would you ever think about getting rid of them? Would you? I mean, most people. I don't know. I just feel like I want to choose what I get. And if I wait for a vendor to come by, I'm at the mercy of just who comes by.
But what's
so
coming.
Many great options.
You're not going to get a lobster roll up and down the thing. You know what I mean?
Probably you're getting some kettle corn, cotton candy.
But I guess for people who I do want some popcorn later in the game, and they don't want to have to get up and miss any of the game.
That's your ass up and go get it.
I know. It's like
but you do miss a lot of action when you go and
then get your food on your way in.
I always end up spending way more money when I take my kids because the guy walks down the aisle, peanuts and whatever they want. I'm like, oh, yeah, all right, throw some down here. But for me, if I go with my wife and I'm just watching a game, if you told me there's not going to be guys walking in your way the whole time, I think inherently for me, the way I feel, that's a good thing. But I understand why people were upset about it.
They do try to be respectful and stay out of the way when the action is underway. But
it's impossible.
It's that cotton candy guy's got the big old tray with 16 cotton candies.
It's not their fault.
It's a real obstructed view problem.
It is. And I just when I saw this news yesterday, I went, well, that's an interesting concept. I did think immediately, oh God, it's going to make the concourse even worse. Like it's going to be insane. Look, everybody has the way that they do things at a baseball game. Every single person has their order. They know what they're going to do. They know where they're going to go. I go straight. I get pizza. I get a piece of pizza and a Sprite, and I go sit down at my seat. I eat it, and I watch it. And maybe I'll get up and get something else, but usually not. That's pretty much my move. Everybody has a different move. And if I'm there early enough, because the lines are always pretty gnarly at Grand Ole, I'll go out and get the pulled pork sandwich with the delicious hot mustard on it. And I'll eat that oftentimes in front of Grand Ole. I don't eat that in my seat. Then I'll go to my seat.
It doesn't even make it back to your seat.
It doesn't even make it back to my seat. So everybody's got a different scene. The guy that shows up in the third inning makes me more mad than the vendor, though. That we're right in the middle of this game here, and then he shows up and he's trying to wedge in his seat and he's standing up, and everybody has to stand up.
Well, they have the ushers that try to stop.
They try to stop you. It doesn't always work.
At bats,
doesn't always work
until the at bats over before you walk down the aisles.
Yeah, it doesn't always work, man.
You get a ground ball to second base. By the time the next guy's up and ready, they're not even at their
and
row
with the pitch
yet.
clock, and with the pitch clock now keeping it moving,
it's moving.
There's really no way. If you're
you gotta wait till the inning's over.
Down, you're never going to make it to your seat without blocking someone's view for at least 30 seconds as you're walking down.
Yeah. So I guess I'm for the multitude of people that were upset yesterday. I'm happy for you guys that there's still going to be vendors walking up and down. When I saw it, I did for a moment get a little tingly, like, well, this is going to be wild. Just people watching baseball.
I always enjoy seeing what we did wrong every time we interview the CEO. What questions we didn't ask. I'm not seeing a ton.
No, I mean,
someone said, what, you didn't ask about the $49 nachos. I didn't see $49 nachos. I'm assuming these aren't just the
I believe it was a
nacho
typo.
cheese and jalapeno.
I believe it was a typo. It
I
could
mean-
be the tri-tip nachos in a bucket or something.
I mean, you
but-
could have a large tri-tip nachos like with shrimp or lobster or something. You could get up to $49 for
Probably.
nachos for sure.
I
But
think
didn't
it
see
was
that.
I think it was a misprint.
That was just a
$49
misprint, yeah.
nachos. That'd be tough. That'd be tough.
Everybody just ran with like some blog or whatever.
Yeah.
Like the actual
It happens.
press release did not say anything about $49 nachos or no vendors.
True Crime Breakdown says pizza and Sprite, no beer. No, man, not a big drinker anymore.
Except when you are.
Except when I'm gonna have a couple pops on Thursday. It's opening day. It's tradition. It's our
Early,
birthday.
I know.
It's our birthday too. We have tequila shots early.
Stay away from Corey Stewart if you want to make it through the
Oh
day.
God. We need to
Always
win.
makes
I don't
for
want
a
to be
fun Friday show and Woods comes in hungover and he's just like, this effing team effing sucks. Can't believe it.
Well, at least Blake Snell's not there to walk 6 guys or something against the Rockies again. God, I was ready to punt. Well, that was 23, right?
He struck out like 9 in 4 innings.
Yeah, look who was right about 23, by the way. Your old pal Woodsy. At the first day, I was ready to punt this team into the sun. And how'd they do? Terribly.
You want to Cy Young?
Yeah, we were awful. We were awful and did not meet expectations. It was terrible.
We would have been worse without him.
Fair. I'll give you that. Well, now he gets to walk 9 on or walk 4 and go 3 1/3 on opening day for the Dodgers. Strap in, Dodger fans, for your
As they
Blake
head
Snell
toward their
experience.
inevitable 82-80 record this year.
If they go 82-80, I'll wear the broccoli cut for a year. A full year. I will rock that thing proudly.
Can you imagine
save
that fan base?
Save it. You save it, write it down. You can get it notarized, Paulie. If the Dodgers go 82-80, I will wear the broccoli cut for a solid 365.
Oh, can you imagine that fan base and just how insane they would be if the Dodgers inexplicably like hovering around 500 in late August, going, what is wrong with us? We're 5-27 in one-run games. We can't
get that. I'll get a perm. I'll do the whole bit. You can rest assured.
I'm sorry, that would be the funniest.
You'd never see somebody happier.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. All right, we need a contestant for Take on Woods. We will get to that coming up in our next segment. 833-288-0973. Chance to qualify for the trip to Las Vegas. That is coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Man, we are just a couple of days away from opening day. So excited to get my underdog. Actually, I've already done it. I've already made my picks for opening day. But baseball fans, take a swing at making picks on all your favorite players with Underdog. Baseball officially back. It's going to be so much fun. Going to get a lot of action on Underdog this year. Join me if you would. To play, all you got to do, choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats, like strikeouts, home runs, hits, more. You can play with as little as $1. If you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. A couple of my picks already. Michael King, higher than 4.5 Ks. Tatis, higher than half of a run. Manny Machado, I'm calling he will drive in a run, so higher than 0.5 RBI. So let's have some fun on Underdog. Download the Underdog app. Sign in now using the promo code Woods to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up with promo code Woods. Claim your special offer today. Get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon first deposit. Must be 18 and over, 19 and over in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 and over in Colorado for some games, 21 and over in Massachusetts and Arizona. Present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms do apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369.
Ben Woods back with you, going until 10 o'clock this morning. Again, we'll be live at Baja Rick's on Thursday morning, getting you ready for opening day. Padres against the Atlanta Braves. Just saw a fun tweet. One of our former interns is actually going to be covering the game. He's a TV anchor in Atlanta now, and he's going to be on the road with the team for Atlanta's News First, Connor Hines.
Crazy. I saw that.
In San Diego. I just saw that.
Good for
Peachtree
him.
TV, Atlanta CW.
Amazing.
And is going to be here for opening day coverage.
I DM'd him and said, dude, you got to come by Baja Rick's, say hello. He goes, I was actually planning on it. If I can get down there, I'm going to come by and say hello. And we can ask him. It's actually our show's anniversary, too, our 7-year anniversary. Like, Connor, what did you learn from me when we were at the Mighty 1090? And he would probably say nothing. You'd been doing sports radio for about 3 weeks when I started. And weren't that
you
good.
You were practically an intern yourself at that time.
100%. Me running home to watch the Iowa State Cyclones because I thought that's what I had to do. Man, what a time that was. And we've come a long way. And he's come a long way.
He's done well.
He looks so handsome and adult. He's like he's like
he was just a baby when he was interning for us.
He would show up like late, kind of bumming in, like 6 in the morning, 5 in the wait, what time do we start?
Started at 5?
Did we start at 5? Paulie, did we start at 5 there?
For a while.
Yeah.
5.
No.
No.
We did 6 to 9 and then 6 to 10.
Yeah.
Never did
Then we
5?
came over here.
And did
and we did
5
here.
5 to 9 and then 6 to 9 and then 6 to 10.
Amazing. Just incredible. I'm so happy for him though. He looks so put together, like a young blonde Ben Higgins 30 years ago. Yeah.
I'm getting they're passing me by.
They are, buddy.
Former interns.
They are.
All right, we got a contestant on the line. Let's get to it. It is time for Taking Woods. All right, Take on Woods is brought to you by Bay Alarm, security and fire alarms for every business. We got you, and we got a regular today. Hello, Guy. How are you?
Hey, good morning, guys.
All right, late in the month for you to try to qualify here for our grand prize drawing. Let's see if you can get in by beating or tying Woods. Qualifying for our grand prize getaway. 2 tickets to Alanis Morissette at the Coliseum at Caesars Palace. 2-night stay at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino and a $100 gas card. You can see Ticketmaster.com for tickets. All right, here are the categories today in our musical trivia challenge. We've got The End Is Now, 1970s edition, song titles that end in the word now. We've got a mystery category. It's an all 2-second mystery category, so you need to get the first song to kind of open up the rest of the category. And then Call Me Al, 5 song titles that begin with the letters A-L. So, The End Is Now, mystery category, or Call Me Al. Guy, what would you like to play?
Is now.
Repeat that, please. Your phone broke up.
The end
is now, 1970s edition. We played an 80s edition a couple weeks ago. This is all songs from the 1970s that end in the word now. Their titles do. You'll have 60 seconds to answer as many of the 5 as you can. If you don't know one, you can pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. First question is the 2-second song. Paulie will play the music. You need to give me the title and the artist to score that point. And we're going way back now, a half a century to the 1970s. So, ready to play, Guy?
Let's give it a shot.
All right, Paulie, you ready to go?
Ready.
All right, let's put 60 seconds on the clock. The category is The End Is Now. Guy, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Woods.
If You Leave Me Now by gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Pass.
Song's right. We'll pass. Which 1979 song by Queen includes the line, "That's why they call me Mr. Fahrenheit"?
Pass.
Which 1970 song by the English rock band Free reached #1 on the charts in 20 different countries?
All Right Now.
Correct. Johnny Nash sings "It's Gonna Be a Bright, Bright, Sunshiny Day" in which 1972 hit single?
Think I Can Make It Now?
Incorrect. Which heroic 1976 song by Bill Conti is also known as the theme to Rocky?
Gonna Fly Now.
Correct. Go back to our 2-second song. Oh, all right. I think we got 2 before time ran out. We got All Right Now by Free and Gonna Fly Now. You got If You Leave Me Now. It's by Chicago. And then Don't Stop Me Now is Mr. Fahrenheit from Queen. And I Can See Clearly Now. The rain is gone. It's going to be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. All right, 2 is the score, but these are old. This is some old music. Guys, stay on the line. All right, Woods gets his shot without the category. Makes the game definitely tougher here. Let's put 60 seconds on the clock. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Guy.
Pass.
Which 1979 song by Queen includes the line, "That's why they call me Mr. Fahrenheit"?
Pass.
Which 1970 song by the English rock band Free reached #1 on the charts in 20 different countries?
All Right Now.
Correct. Johnny Nash sings "It's Gonna Be a Bright, Bright, Sunshiny Day," in which 1972 hit single?
Is the first one Bread, Seals and Crofts?
Damn it! Pass. Which heroic 1976 song by Bill Conti is also known as the theme to Rocky?
Oh, Gonna Fly Now?
Correct. Which 1979 song by Queen includes the line, "That's why they call me Mr. Fahrenheit"?
What is the category? I don't know. I'm out.
Johnny Nash sings "It's Going to Be a Bright, Bright, Sunshiny Day." Incorrect. All right. If you're done,
I'm done.
Means we have a 2-2 tie, which is good for Guy. As Guy
wheels off. What was the category?
It's The End Is Now 1970s edition. So they all ended in the word now.
All right.
The
So
2-second
Leave Me Now by Seals and Crofts.
Chicago.
Chicago. Close enough.
You both got the title. Neither of you got the band. Don't Stop Me Now by Queen.
I think I'm unfamiliar.
Stop me now.
Unfamiliar with that?
That's why they call me Mr. Fahrenheit. You know the song.
Kind of.
You got All Right Now. I Can See Clearly Now. The rain is gone. It's going to be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. You both got Gonna Fly Now.
Okay.
All right, Guy, stay on the line. Paulie, you can get your
that was
information during our traffic report, which we will get to now. And then I've got some injury updates ahead of opening day around Major League Baseball, all coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, your 15-minute drive-through oil change. Still a bit of a challenge out of the South Bay, northbound side of the 805 accident clearing up near H Street, another crash clearing near 43rd. Now reports of a possible encampment fire southbound 5 near J Street, smoke visible from that right shoulder. Northbound side of the 5 just before Genesee, watch out for some plywood in middle lanes. Spring into action at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, your 15-minute drive-through oil change. Stay in your car while friendly technicians check oil, batteries, lights, tires, and more. Locations and coupons at SoCalOilChange.com. All vehicle types welcome. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Eric in our chat has an update, perhaps on our former intern, Connor Hines.
Saw this. I hope it's not the same one.
It says, I had a Connor Hines in my high school that pooped in another kid's shoes and also pooped in the school pool.
That
maybe the same Connor Hines.
Could be. It could be. Try to tell your kids. Try to tell my kids all the time, hey, man, look, things are going to happen, right? Accidents will happen, things like that. But if it happens, just know that you will wear the weight of that for your entire life. You're going to be the farty kid or the doo-doo boy or whatever.
In some radio shows chat years down the road, you're going to be
DD,
that kid.
mega doo-doo.
People never forget. Oh, look who it is. It's old Fart Woods.
Why don't you go pee your pants again, Greg? It was like 8 years ago. People don't forget.
They do not forget. It is like, hey, I mean, oh, look who it is. It's Booger Boy. Give one booger or something.
It's one of your high school reunion.
Oh, look who's here. Hey, Booger. You're
Never
like,
goes away.
I tell I'm like, please be hyper vigilant and hyper aware. It's for your own good.
Junior says, I still remember that kid from elementary school.
Bro,
eat his pants. It's so
100%.
sad. Just forget.
I know.
Everybody just forget.
Let's just wipe
about
it clean.
What the other kids at school did.
They're
when
little
you
kids.
Were 9.
That's right.
Gotta let it go.
What did you say? Old Pukey Pauly over there vomited one day in his class.
Sure. I'm happy to say that nickname, nothing
Didn't stick.
stuck around. Yeah.
But like vomiting's different. But like, if you poop your pants in 7th grade, you're done. You're done for.
Over.
Like, it's it. I've told my kids, if something happens, like if you're in 7th grade and you poop, you can call me. I will come get you. I will straight up come get you from school. You tell them you're sick, dude. Don't try to fight through it.
Well,
Can't really hide that, man.
You can run to the nurse's
like,
office.
I'm sick. They're like, yeah, we know. We can tell.
Just run to the nurse's office. Dead sprint. You will not get in any extra trouble.
Apparently, our friend Matty Strum is turning into that guy with the Philadelphia Phillies who injures himself in dumb ways.
No, he did.
So
it's got to be card related.
I don't think it's too serious, but this story yesterday, perhaps too eager to depart from spring training. Philadelphia Phillies left-hander Matt Strum did not pitch in the team's Grapefruit League finale as expected because of a finger injury occurred while packing. Strom reportedly tore the fingernail on his left middle finger while getting ready to depart from the team's spring home in Clearwater, Florida. Now, apparently, he also injured himself packing for spring training at the beginning with a shoulder injury that he was
Good God.
that was packing to go to Florida.
So
So,
just pay for some movers.
yeah,
Yeah,
perhaps
something.
I think that's, Matty, you make enough now that you should not be packing on your own. I will say cardboard boxes.
They will get you.
They get me.
You know what
cut
else?
myself. I have injured myself on more cardboard boxes. They are dangerous.
You know what else will get you is that tape, the tape
Yeah.
thing. You try to jam. It's got all those spikes at the end of it.
Uh-huh.
I've wrenched my hand on that more than
I
once.
sliced my finger a couple weeks ago. I was making a smoothie. I had to open up a new thing of Greek yogurt.
Yeah.
And that aluminum,
The tab.
like the peel,
Oh, just to pull it off.
I
the
just
top,
pulled it
the
off, and
seal.
it happened to just like rip right into a finger, and it completely. I started bleeding.
I
was like,
sliced
what
my
the hell?
finger the other day cutting something for the kids, fruit, and just right through my finger.
Paul, you'll never believe this, but when Woods and I were kids, when you went to the store and you bought like a bottle of aspirin,
Yeah.
you just opened it up. There was no seal.
No.
There was no nothing. You
just open up and
No cotton
just,
ball.
there's
No
no
cotton
no cotton
balls.
ball. No.
no. They actually
Nothing.
used
no child proofing at all.
They actually used to
None
just
of that.
sell them loose, Paulie. We could go up and take a handful of loose aspirin if we wanted to, in a bowl for a nickel.
Yeah, child proofing was something that came along a little bit later, like maybe when we were teens or something.
I think we were in like elementary school because there were people like poisoning children's Tylenol, so they came up with this fancy cap.
And then the anti-theft measures that they take, like putting those things in like big plastic, like the tight plastic seals, where there's just no way to get it open
industrial
without
scissors.
Those really heavy duty scissors. That didn't exist when we were growing up either.
I want to talk coming up next. I was fascinated over the break with routines. I'm a routine guy. I like routines. I've always, every baseball player I think we've ever interviewed, I've asked them about what's your routine? What's your pregame routine? What's your postgame routine? What's your in-game routine? I love routines. But there's a guy making the rounds on social media that had me, I couldn't get enough. It was one of those things, usually the viral videos that come out, I'm like, all right, I'm kind of over this. I couldn't get enough of this guy. And all of the imitators made me laugh so hard over the weekend.
Speaking of athlete routines, one other injury update. Well, not injury necessarily, but it seems like Mookie Betts' routine the last couple of weeks is wake up, throw up.
What is going on?
Go to the bathroom, throw up again. He has lost now 18 pounds, has really been unable to keep food down for like 2 weeks. Since before the Dodgers went to Japan, or just when they went to Japan.
He's at 157.
Dave Roberts says he's making some progress. They're hopeful he'll be ready for opening day on Thursday, but it sounds kind of iffy. And even if he is, you lose 18 pounds, you're not yourself for a while. That's not something that just comes back.
I can't relate
instantly. So. No, but we can all relate to
you tell us
serious illness, and he is definitely dealing with it.
But they said it happened before they got to Japan. So it wasn't like he ate something that didn't agree with him. And he said he hasn't been diagnosed with anything, which is the really, really scary part when that starts happening.
I'm not saying it's going to affect him during the season, but I can't imagine he's going to be himself for 2 or 3 weeks while you're still recovering.
Yeah, and he's trying to like play every single day at shortstop, by the way.
Yeah.
That's something. That is something for him. But yeah, I have no idea what that could possibly be for him. Nothing.
Now,
and
the Dodgers have the advantage of they can rest him whenever they want
Yeah.
because they don't have to probably think about every game doesn't matter to the
Well,
Dodgers
they didn't
this year.
play him and Freddie in Japan, and they won
They still
handily.
won,
So yeah, no problem.
Yeah, so they
Yeah,
do
they'll
have
make
that
him
luxury.
They'll make him the comeback player of the year as Colson.
Does that work? Can you do that within the same season? I don't even know if it works that way. All right, Woods wants to talk routines.
Oh, this is amazing.
We'll have a Reindl Report in our final hour and more. Stay tuned. Ben and Woods continuing next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Do you go with Pukey Mookie or Pukey Bets?
Ooh,
We've been discussing in the chat.
Those are both really good.
That's actually really good. Either one. I just hope he feels better.
We, of course, wish nothing but good health.
Nothing but good health
For one Mookie Betts.
Correct.
Who is probably the least loathable of all the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Now there's 2 Max Muncies in baseball.
There is one made for the Athletics.
You kind of like the new Max Muncy? I mean, I
Way
know you
better.
like him better than the old Max Muncy.
Yeah, way better.
It's weird. I mean, Will Smiths.
Sure.
Fine. There's 2 Will Smiths in baseball and a actor named Will Smith. You can't get much more generic than William Smith. But Max Muncy, now that's a weird name to have 2 of them in Major League Baseball at the same time. If you missed it, one of the young Sacramento A's prospects who made the roster is also named Max Muncy, but he's not related, right?
No,
he's
no
not.
relation.
He has no relation at all
It's
to
two
the
Max
Dodgers.
Muncies.
Max Muncy.
Yep. Did you watch this video?
I did.
What are your thoughts?
I think it's insane.
I want to ask you about because I'm, as I mentioned, I'm obsessed with routines. I love routines. We all have our routine. None like the one that I saw over the weekend. That I think it's been out.
Everyone's seen it. It's got nearly a billion views on social media.
Guy by the name of Ashton Hull is a very handsome dude, very ripped and yoked. I mean, he's got like one of the best bodies I've ever seen. And he posts his routine, and he starts at like 3:00 in the morning with his sleep tape over his mouth. And he goes on, he brushes his teeth, puts his Rogaine in his beard, and does some push-ups for like 3 minutes. And he just takes you through his entire day. Now it's obviously for TikTok and
not his entire day. It's a like 2-minute video that takes you to about 9 a.m.
Yeah, that's true. Well, see, there's a couple different ones going around out there, but if you haven't seen Ashton Hull, he says he does this every day. So I was thinking about it, Benny, like in the morning, what is your routine when you wake up? The alarm goes off.
My exact routine.
Your exact routine. And is it a routine every day?
It is. I do the exact same thing every day. My first alarm goes off. Usually I wake up, but I lay there for about a minute or 2. I then reach over and grab my phone. I scroll through Twitter for about 1 minute just to see if anything's happened while I was sleeping. Then I look at any emails I got, and then I turn on the light. I then get up. I go use the bathroom.
Number one?
Yes, number one. Okay. Number one.
Number 1.
Then I weigh myself every single morning and put it into my app. I've done so ever since I started the sdfatloss.com program.
What did you weigh? Zach, this is Stroganoff in the chat. What did you weigh in at this morning?
Stroganoff, 251.0 pounds.
And where were you at your highest?
294.
Son of a, look at you.
Yeah.
Feels pretty good. What are you trying to get under?
I'm just trying to keep it at 250.
250.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I
you're
think
actually
that's
pound
for
over.
as high as, as tall as I am.
Yeah.
I think I carry that okay.
Yeah.
If I might at some point want to see if I can get down to the 230 to 240 level. But right now I'm just trying to maintain. I've been trying to maintain the weight loss. So then I weigh myself, and then I go put on clothes, and then I'll get my keys and wallet. And
You missed a
walk down the
bunch
phone.
of stuff.
No, that's it.
No deodorant.
I do not put on new deodorant in the morning. I do not brush my teeth in the morning.
Wait.
I do it when I get back.
Wait.
Yeah. I did.
Wait.
It's the
What?
last thing I do.
What did you just say?
I put it on in the evening.
Yeah,
last
but then
night.
you work like 7 hours.
Do I smell bad?
No.
Do you need to put on? How many times a day should you put on deodorant?
No, but I mean,
I usually once or twice at most.
So
during
you
the
got-
day.
so you-
Not in the morning?
I sleep very cool. I don't get under the
does.
covers.
He doesn't get-
I'm not sweaty or
Doesn't
anything when I get
sweat.
up.
all right. So you don't brush your teeth.
I
in the
brush my
morning.
teeth when I get home
from this.
from this job, and then right before I go to bed at night around 11 p.m. So I just brushed my teeth. Literally, the last thing I did before I went to sleep was brush my teeth.
Yeah, and you only get a few hours.
It doesn't
of
seem to
sleep.
make sense that the next thing you do is brush your teeth
You don't
just a
have
few
like
hours
that
later.
gross feeling.
No, I don't
every
really
once
get
in a
that.
while.
So
Like,
I like
you
to
just need to brush.
I like to
I
brush my
have to
teeth in the
brush.
middle of the day when I'm getting ready for work again. And
So you
then
brush
at
your
the
teeth
end of the
once a
night.
day. Is what you're
Twice.
saying. Once.
No, when
when you get home.
When I do my routine to get ready for TV and I get home from here and I do my showering and everything, deodorant. I kind of have in the middle of the
So you
day.
don't like wash your face or put lotion on or any
Not in the
nothing?
morning.
You don't take
I
a
do that in the
banana
middle-
peel and
No.
rub it on your face like Ashton does?
I don't do that ever, but my general routine happens in the middle of the day. Here, did you get
I
that?
just tried it.
There's still a banana in there.
We'll finish it.
Get rid of the.
And he takes a peel and he rubs it.
I mean, why does it matter what time of the day you do your hygiene routine? It just has to happen every day, and it does happen every day for me.
Does not feel good. Why did you do that?
I shower, I shave, I deodorant, I do all that the same amount as other people, I would think. I mean, brush my teeth twice a day.
No, because you only shower once a day.
Do most people shower more than once a day?
I think so.
I don't
really.
think so.
You don't?
Once
I
a
shower
day.
once a day.
No, you don't. You shower twice a day.
If I work out or
you're playing
sweat or
basketball.
something. Yeah, but I didn't shower this morning. I showered last night. My next
That's
shower.
true. You guys don't
will
shower
be-
in the morning. I can't
don't
do
shower.
that.
If I did
Shower
shower
in the middle of the day.
regularly in the morning, then I guess most days would be 2 showers.
You don't do like when you get up in the morning, you don't splash cold water in your face. You
No.
don't take a wipe and
You don't
wipe
dunk your
yourself
face in a bowl of ice water.
and full of oranges and
I
strawberries
do
and
not do any
bananas.
of that.
Ow.
I take my pills at night, so I don't do that in the morning. I'd really maximize my sleep
You do.
by just rolling out of bed and getting here for the most part. I have very little morning routine.
And then, but your afternoon routine is
My
more,
afternoon routine
more
is
like
more
Ashton.
involved. Yes, more
Ashton.
involved.
I would feel
not,
like
not
an
as involved
animal.
as Ashton.
I'd feel like an animal if I just rolled out of bed and came in
I
here
would too.
without brushing my teeth or putting on deodorant.
I would too. But you don't smell.
Thank you.
Today, you don't.
I'm going to be looking for it now, though.
I did actually put on deodorant this morning because I'm not going home. I'm going straight to work. So I did feel like with a whole day coming up, I better put on some today.
I am fascinated with this guy's thing. I mean, he has this bottled water called Saratoga. Now, I'm an eco water guy. So, but he has this bottled water. He drinks like 100 of these things a day. He has somebody making his meals for him. I think he's a scammer. But how do you drive a G-Wagon and live where he lives without, having money? I don't know. Maybe he's financed to the hilt. I have no idea.
You get a billion views on anything.
billion?
You're making some money on social media.
The funniest part is people mocking him. That's been the funniest part, doing their own version of the routine. And yeah, I thought about doing one. I was out of town. So I also don't have the skills.
Well, what's your routine?
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
You want to hear mine?
Yeah.
Same thing with the alarm. Turn it off. I set one for 4:12 and 4:22. Usually I get up at 4:12. Sometimes today I got up at 2:12.
4:39, 4:47.
Right. So I get up. I go straight to the shower, turn the shower on. It usually takes a minute for it to get cranked up. At that time in the morning, I brush my teeth before I get in the shower. I will usually do like a cold water on my face right then and there. Then I'll jump in the shower, hot shower, scrub, get out, put my clothes on, deodorant. I do moisturizer on my face. I do some under eye cream per se. And then I fix my hair, and then a little spritz of cologne. And then I walk out the door to the kitchen where I make my coffee, special coffee that I make. And then,
I do a quick spritz of water in my hair.
And you
just
brush your hair.
comb it back in the morning too before I leave.
And then I hit the road.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at his routine, and who has 4 hours in the morning to do that?
It was built for
It's built for social media.
Yeah, I get that.
But I kind of like the idea of slamming my face into a giant bowl of ice water in the morning. I feel like that would be good for you. But it's also a lot of work. Just wake you up.
What's the science?
Yeah. It's like a cold plunge, wakes you up.
I've done cold plunges. I didn't feel the benefit of it. I felt the misery of it while I was in there, and then afterwards, I didn't really feel any better than I did before I went in.
Junior
that
says
was it for cold plunges for me.
Junior says hearing dudes' routines makes me realize how much of a wild person I am. Lotions are crazy work. Yeah, I mean, I can't. I got to lube up. But
The only time I put shaving gel on my face, but I don't really moisturize.
You don't moisturize?
Not really.
Your skin looks good. You've
Thanks.
got some like Mediterranean in you. It's like you're tan kind of always. Your skin looks pretty good.
Thank you.
You didn't smoke packs and packs of cigarettes. You didn't drink. You didn't really abuse your body like many of us did. It takes a lot to look this crappy every single day. Trust me, a lot. My routine is more similar to his than it is to yours. I'll put it that way. I can't get enough of this guy. Paulie, he had a statement he put out because people have been Well, he calls it copying, but listen to him talk about it.
Address the nonsense. So many videos are being sent to me, duplicates of my videos. This is for the creators that are sick and tired of their work being copied. Listen to me well. You're either going to be a leader or a follower, and it's okay to be either one, but you have to choose. If you're going to be a leader, people are going to follow you. What is the issue? I realized that God has me here to lead, not to follow anyone. So that's what I'm going to do. When I see somebody following the way, I should be hyped. Now, I'm not perfect by any means. I used to get pissed off. The running videos, the ASMR with workouts, I'm not going to act like I'm a saint. I used to block anybody who was doing anything similar to me. That was me. I'm blocking them. Screw them. How could they copy my work? I worked so hard for this. What's wrong with this dude? Why do the same thing as me? What is up? Then I realized, bro, like, people follow Jesus. Why? Because he was great. As a Christian man, why are you angry?
Comparing yourself to Jesus, by the way.
He's the first person to ever post a behind the scenes or a daily regiment video. He really, he's worse than Ben.
Hey, remember when you came up with that phrase?
Ashton has invented getting ready for your day.
no one is copying him. They're all mocking him, and that's what bums me out. I'm like, bro. And then he says, basically, I'm like Jesus. Jesus had a bunch of followers. I'm like him. What? Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Pottery Guy says social media is a cancer. Why give this guy a moment of your time?
It's funny.
It's a great question. And as soon as I saw his, I was blown away. And then I saw all the copies and I couldn't stop watching. It got me. Like, it was one of those things that got me just hook, line, and sinker.
I think, well, first of all, much respect to Matthew, who says my hot water heater broke like a year ago, so I just take cold showers now. I respect that level of laziness.
Oh my God, Matthew!
It's too much trouble to get it fixed. You got to get a repairman in there.
I can fix it, but honestly, who needs hot water? Human beings, I guess. There is no chance, none. I couldn't make it a night. A cold shower every day. Holy smokes! I'm obsessed with this dude. But yeah, man. Again, everybody thinks they're somebody now, and buddy, you're just making routine videos.
I mean the unexpected side effects, though. So in the video, when he's dunking his face in the ice water
with fruit in it,
he uses a blue bottle of Saratoga brand water, and apparently they're like stock price went up just from this video alone. Like the demand.
It looks cool.
I saw this video of this guy talking about Saratoga yesterday, and he was showing like the Google trends for Saratoga brand, and it was flatline, dead, absolutely nothing from December, January, February, and then like March 12th or whatever it was where this video first popped up, it skyrocketed like 400%.
And this is not this was not some sort of branding agreement from what I read. He did not.
No,
he doesn't have a deal with Saratoga water. That's just the water he uses. And Saratoga has been like, we couldn't get any traction whatsoever. This guy posts a video, and all of a sudden, boom. I mean, I don't know if I'm jealous of their social media marketer or like worried for them. Like, you've done nothing for us. This guy has changed our entire brand with one video.
It's a fumble by them.
Well, what are we paying you for?
I mean, that's how I feel about Eco Water. Why Eco Water? Simply the best.
Dump your face in it.
I do every morning. It comes out of my shower.
And did anyone say what the banana peel is supposed to do?
I have no idea.
What's vitamins and minerals on your face?
I have no idea. I just did it, and it didn't.
Feels
now
like
it
would
smell like banana.
Sticky.
Here, try it.
I don't want to try it.
The best part of that whole video.
Used it already.
Yeah, I just used one sleeve of it.
Which one did you use?
That one. The thin one. Use the thick one.
The best part of that viral routine video going around, though, is for me at the end when he's doing fake work talk.
Yes.
Sitting at his computer at 9 a.m. He's like, hey, bro, we got to get to at least 10,000.
So good.
And then his girlfriend or his wife or whatever brings him some avocado toast.
Yeah.
And
I don't actually love the smell of banana.
Now it's all over your face.
It's all over my face.
Well, there's already stuff coming out like, oh, man, this guy's a total scammer. He got evicted from his apartment. I have no idea what's true or not. I enjoy his videos. I like it. Well, you don't like that feeling?
I really do not. I'm not a big fan of.
Mine's kind of burning a little bit. Great. Could be my wind burn. And he's journaling, Paulie. He's like writing down stuff in his journal. I mean, look, he does 6 hours of stuff before 9 a.m. It's crazy. It's crazy. I would do it, but I don't have the skills to film.
I mean, he's got, as you said, he's ripped. He's got a great body.
Yes, he's yoked.
Now, when the video, we see him do about 7
push-ups. He does
push-ups doing for like 15 minutes.
Does it? Was it 15? I thought it was like 3.
Time lapses. I've got no idea how much he's actually doing.
Well, I think he puts the work in.
Is that his job though? Is just to look?
I don't think that's what his every morning looks like though.
What's his?
Like,
there's no way
he goes to work and he sits at a desk doing something.
I think it's at his house.
Yeah, works from home.
He works from home.
Yeah. It's really interesting. I'm obsessed with it, so I'm going to keep watching. I welcome all imitators. All imitators. I don't know who he is. I have no idea who he is. I just saw it on Twitter. And
it's Ashton Hall.
Ashton Hall. He's getting it. His 15 minutes this year's Hawk Tua.
Talked about the manager for McNeese State.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can we just go back to when like you do one funny thing or have one moment and then that was good and then you move on? Like this kid's gonna have a podcast, a crypto coin.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna be on Pat McAfee's
apparently,
show.
Though we talked about him yesterday. He was going to follow Will Wade to North Carolina State. But apparently, he said, "I have not made my decision yet whether he's leaving."
He's going to do a LeBron special on ESPN
with Will Wade. So we have to now wait for the decision.
We're all waiting though
by Amir Khan as to where he is taking his talents next season.
It's a good
team
piece of advice.
Manager, graduate assistant.
It's a good piece of advice. If you get your 15 minutes, take it and run. They run as hard and fast as you can. Now, try not to run.
He signed like 8 NIL
I know.
deals.
He's making way more than us this year. Way more.
Yes.
But if you get your 15 minutes, run with it. Like I thought Hawk Tua was on a really good, she was helping animals and stuff. And then she decides to go do a crypto coin and they pulled the rug on a bunch of people. And a bunch of people lost a lot of money.
I doubt that was her scheming though.
No, but again, like
taken advantage.
She got taken advantage of, and it's still her, it's still.
I don't know. I don't really blame her. I blame people who, like, it was their decision to not do enough research and get into it. I don't know.
It's her, she's the one that signed off on it.
It's her name, but who could have ever expected her to know anything about crypto?
Yeah, which is why you don't say, yes, let's do a crypto coin if you don't know anything about it. But listen,
you didn't know anything about sports radio and you signed off on joining this show.
That's fair. But Ashton Hall will have a coin before the week is out. I promise you. Thank you.
I didn't know I was going to get dragged so much for my lack of a morning routine.
It is a little odd, but whatever works for you. You also work 2 full-time jobs, so you have to take that into account.
Right. Otherwise, I'd just be routining all the time, getting ready then I'd be Ashton, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
In a perpetual routine all day long to get ready for whatever my next job is. So, all right. Well, anyway, we still have the Reindl Report to get to coming up, and I believe Paulie's still waiting for that sounder for the opening day ticket. So stay tuned.
Paulie's drunk with power. I
know. He's just waiting. We're just waiting for it. With Bennett Woods, we'll check traffic. We'll be back in a moment here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3, The Fan. Woods, though, first of all, I want to talk about trust and will. There's a lot of good reasons to set up either a trust or a will to make sure your family is taken care of should something happen to you. Some are simple. You want to bequeath items that are of value to you, and you want to specify who gets them. You can do that in a will. You want to get a trust to take care of your assets and help your family avoid lengthy and possibly stressful probate court after you're gone.
Can be really, really expensive as well. Your family's just suffered a loss. Don't drag them through the courts for 18 months after you're gone. There's no reason not to just get it done in 20 minutes online. All the directions you need right there. Super affordable. The code, just go to trustandwill.com. Use the code FAN, F-A-N. When you check out, you'll get 20% off.
And I promise it's really easy.
Simple.
It's online questions. You do it yourself. You do it at home. And then they send you the documents, and you've got them, and you put them away. Maybe you update them in a few years, but you've got that peace of mind knowing, hey, I've got something down on paper. If anything happens to me, you don't have to worry about it immediately. Just go to trustandwill.com. Use our code FAN. Get 20% off at trustandwill.com. Our boss Adam went to a whole lot of trouble of putting together some numbers on the Padres final roster decision yesterday. You see this? He broke down Yuli Gurrel versus Connor Joe for us.
He sure did.
With their career numbers and then their numbers the last 3 seasons. And he drew some, I think, fairly distinct conclusions. If you compare Yuli Gurrel to Connor Joe overall for their careers, Gurrel has had the better career, much higher overall WAR, way more games played, hits, batting average. He's won a batting title, better OPS, everything better. 2 championships, a Gold Glove award. But if you only compare the last 3 years, when Yuli Gurrel has been pretty bad, Connor Joe has been the better player. So why did Yuli Gurrel make the team over Connor Joe? Given the trends of how they've played recently.
State secret, man. Really. I mean, I have no idea.
It's very simple. You don't lose Connor Joe. You get to keep Connor Joe and Yuli Gurrel. By choosing Yuli Gurrel, you keep both players. And maybe one, maybe both help you over the course of the season.
Yeah.
If you chose Connor Joe over Yuli Gurrel, you lose the Yuli Gurrel. And maybe Connor Joe has a good season, maybe he doesn't.
But you lose
Yuli. So you're getting 2 players for one, essentially, by putting Gurrel on the roster first. You can always pivot away and bring up Connor Joe later, but you can't pivot away and bring up Yuli Gurrel later. You lose him if he's not on the team. I think it's just as simple as that. Because Connor Joe has minor league options and Yuli Gurrel had an opt-out in his contract, Padres went with a guy who had admittedly been performing. He's been performing pretty well in spring training for the Padres.
Yeah, he has.
Had a good spring training. I don't know if you read the piece that Kevin Acee wrote, kind of raved about his performance. Looks like his health is in a much better place than he's been the last couple of years. Physically, he's good. They didn't want to lose him. And so to not lose him, they had to keep him. Connor Joe, unfortunately for him, did everything he needed to during spring, but he had minor league options and thus gets optioned down to the minor leagues.
Yep, and he'll get everyday ABs, says I need money, says in the chat. Yeah, everyday ABs down there, which he won't, wouldn't right now. But yeah, we'll see.
It helps a guy like him a hell of a lot more than like Stephen Kolek.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you can go down and rake a little bit. And again, I mean, if you're Connor Joe and you're looking at the team, you're like, all right, well, I mean, it's a little bit in some of the positions I play, they're a little bit longer in the tooth, so to speak. Nice way of saying a little old. And Connor Joe will have his opportunities with San Diego Padres this year. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
and if he doesn't, that means that Jason Hayward and Yuli Gurrel are absolutely mashing at combined 78 years of age.
Connor Joe has areas of his game that he needs to work on defensively. They want him to be a versatile defender who can play multiple positions, but he's not considered a plus defender really anywhere as far as I can tell. And he's going to work on that in the minor leagues and hopefully continue to get better. In the outfield, where Jackson Merrill also plays, is where Connor Joe might end up at some point this season. Can play first base as well. But Luis Arraez has looked good defensively at first base. He's worked at it. I mean, he may not want to be a first baseman, but give Luis Arraez credit. Put in some time. He was good in the playoffs last year. He seems to have carried that over into spring training, made some nice picks. The reviews are that Arraez is an improved defensive player. I'm sure the health and the thumb not hurting doesn't hurt the defense as well as offense for him. So they already have a first baseman.
Yeah, just go hit 350, dude. I don't care what you do at first. Just go hit 350 like you're absolutely capable of doing, Luis Arraez, and be that spark plug at the top of the order. You'll be fine at first base. I am not too worried about it. Right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the position. But, if the better you can be.
Yeah, better you can be. Great. But go do what you need to do with the bat.
And if you were going to work on something, I think he's worked on the right thing.
Sure.
Picking balls.
Yeah.
Save
it's not easy.
Manny, save Xander, from errors on throws that they're supposed to be bouncing. That's the thing. If you throw a one hopper from third base across the diamond and the guy at first base misses it on the hop, that's an error for Manny Machado.
Correct.
Even though he did exactly what he was supposed to do, a one hop throw to the first baseman. And he misses it, you get the error because, the throw bounced. Well, in reality, they teach you to do that nowadays. It gets the ball there quicker.
Man, he doesn't do it a lot, but
he doesn't do it, but he can, especially those ones in foul territory. You'll see him do that. Xander, they're supposed to, in certain situations, hop the ball to the first baseman. You need a first baseman who can pick the ball. And if, he doesn't have a ton of range at first base, I'm okay with it if he's picking most of those one-hop throws from the left side of the infield.
Yeah, also hitting 350.
And while hitting 350. Right.
That would be
That's
great.
Huge. That's a huge part of it as well.
Exactly.
All right. I heard the sounder. I see people calling in. Paulie will get our winner for our opening day Padres tickets during our break, and then we'll come back with the Reindl Report, some headlines, and the final segment of the show. Stick around. More Ben and Woods on the way on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Well, I told you guys about Underdog a little bit earlier. Let me tell you again one more time. Underdog, as you know, baseball is here. I've been lamenting and I've been waiting. I've been anxiously awaiting the chance to play daily fantasy on Underdog because baseball season's here, and I like basketball well enough, but this is what I was really, really excited about. Underdog now available to play right here in our state. Very, very excited. So all you have to do is go download the Underdog app, use the code WOODS when you sign up, and you will unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up with promo code WOODS. Claim your special offer today. Get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon first deposit. Now, they do have all your favorite leagues, teams, and stars to choose from. You can create entries with all baseball, which I probably will, or mix and match across other sports as well. You can play with as little as $1. If you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Have some fun with Underdog this baseball season. I know I'm going to. You must be 18 and over, 19 and over in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 and over in Colorado for some games, 21 over in Massachusetts and Arizona, present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms do apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369.
All right, thank you everybody for calling in. Paulie has given away the tickets for today. Not everyone can win, unfortunately. We have so many great tier ones.
Got more tickets tomorrow.
We
but
will
it'll
have
be for Friday.
Yeah,
and
so
then
it's game 2. Dylan Cease on the mound. That's a good one for tomorrow.
Thursday we'll give away tickets to Saturday's game.
First Saturday game. First, going to be a big crowd, I'm sure, on Saturday night.
And then Friday,
Sunday Night Baseball.
Boom.
Tickets for probably Nick Pivetta starting on Sunday night on national television. That's like a 4 o'clock, 4:10 start on Sunday, I believe, against the Braves.
I think that's usually when it is. Yeah,
I think so. So there's your chance to win. Still coming up later this week, but the tickets have been given away for today.
I got to get my head right for the season. Like so much stuff you forget. You have to start planning around these games.
Hours. Yeah, you have to carve out some hours.
It's like everyone's all loosey-goosey and willy-nilly right now. And I'm like, bro, that's just an extra thing I have to work into the schedule every single day. My head's not right
yet. You have to cut back on your routine.
My routine.
Baseball.
I just need a new routine, is what you're saying.
Includes baseball.
Wow.
Speaking of this weekend and Padres baseball, you can join 97.3 The Fan this Saturday. We're going to be broadcasting live. Yeah, Saturday show at Tom's Watch Bar on 8th and J from 10 a.m. to 3:15 p.m. for the East Village Block Party. We'll start things off at 10 a.m., followed by the Braden Sopranich show. And then Gwen and Chris, you can check out all the baseball action while enjoying Blue Moon and Coors Light, along with delicious food like Tom's famous prime rib dip sandwich. That's this Saturday at Tom's Watch Bar on 8th and J Street. Brought to you by Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
It's friggin' 3 live broadcasts in the span of 8 days. Holy smokes.
Yeah, Dave & Buster's last week, and then Thursday at Baja Rick's, Saturday at Tom's Watch Bar.
Man,
we're busy.
We're out there, buddy. Out there. Come by and say hello to all of them.
With that, go
2 more.
3 for 3. Anyone who was at Dave & Buster's last week can still pull off the trifecta of appearing at all of our live shows.
Yeah.
All right, let's check traffic last time, and then Paulie will get to some Reindl Report headlines before the end of the show.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic is brought to you by your local San Diego County, the UPS stores. For that northbound side of the 805, at it again. Another crash right before 43rd. It's been moved over to the right shoulder. And care to guess what's in the HOV lane on South 805, right before Governor? A ladder that some nimnod didn't do a very good job of securing onto their vehicle. Other than that, our freeways are looking pretty good. Your local San Diego County, the UPS store locations are hosting a shred event from April 7th through April 15th. 50% off shredding services. Visit theupsstore.com for the location nearest you. See store for details. And Kelly Danek with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
Did Kelly Danek just say Nimnod?
I didn't hear it, but I'm seeing everybody.
The chat is going crazy.
Nimrod?
She said Nimnod.
Nimnod?
I thought it was Nimrod.
I have to go find that.
Please find that. Nimnod. Some Nimnod dropped a ladder. She does not like a ladder in the road. I mean, that is like her. That's number 1. And I'm with her. Secure your loads, people.
I was just looking up Nimrod.
Yeah, Nimrod is a word. One of my favorites.
It is.
You're such a Nimrod.
It's actually a biblical figure. The son of Cush, Nimrod was described as a king in the land of Shinar of Lower Mesopotamia. The Bible states he was a mighty hunter before the Lord began to be mighty in the earth. I had no idea that there was an actual Nimrod.
Here's our traffic report that we just played.
On South 805, right before Governor, a ladder that some nimnod didn't do a very good job of securing onto their vehicle.
Up her own words. Nimnod.
Love that woman so much.
She's the best.
Icon. All right, it is the Reindl Report. It is brought to you by the Craft Taco. Whether you're craving tacos for lunch or a craft beer for happy hour, the Craft Taco is the answer. now open in Balboa Park and Sereno Valley. Just looking around for some stories this morning, guys. I saw a story out of the NFL. I thought it was interesting. So, wide receiver, he's still with the Rams, right?
Yes. Yeah. They let Cooper Kupp go.
That's right. They let Cooper Kupp go. So,
Puka
current wide receiver, Puka Nacua for the Rams, he is 23 years old, and he has recently said that he would like to retire at age 30. He went on a podcast, and he says, I know I want to retire at the age of 30. I'm 23 right now, going into year 3. It wouldn't even be 10 years. It maybe be 7 or 8. I think of Aaron Donald to go out on top. I think that would be super cool. I fully support him, especially if you can make, professional athlete type money, generational wealth, and be set up for life. Dude, that's that's the reward, is getting to retire at a young age and then live off of that money. Is he hurting himself financially at all? Is any team he's not going to sign a contract at age 27 that he might have been able to sign? It's not going to be as big of a contract, right? If a team
they know
knows
you're walking away,
you only got 3 more years left, bud. We're not giving you that.
It's nice to know when you want to call it a day.
I mean,
it's a good feeling.
I would say there's no reason to limit yourself. Ultimately, he can always change his mind. He's 30 and he's still in his prime and putting up big numbers every year. There are going to be teams that will offer him a lot of money, and then we'll see what he really thinks about his plan to retire at age 30. Because it's easy to say right now when you're 23, I'm going to put in 7 more great years.
Yeah,
call it a career, get out hopefully with my health, and I'll have plenty of money in the bank. But when they offer you even more money to stay, that I think is when you really have to make the decision.
It's nice to have the end game, though, the end goal. Leaving on your own terms is more important.
99.9% of people in sports, the sport tells you when you're done.
Correct.
You don't tell the sport.
I mean, he could get hurt in 2 years, or fall off in 2 years, or they have the wrong quarterback.
This is a wildly optimistic and,
I like that, though.
Positive thinking guy, and I have no problem with the way he is thinking.
When are you going to retire?
I haven't even started thinking about it. I am not even in the Puka Nacua category. I'm, 26 years older than Puka Nacua, and I'm still not even considering retirement. I know you are.
Yeah.
But not me.
5 years.
I've finally found a job that I really like here.
Yeah, I do too, but
took a while. I got it. I want to hold on to it as long as possible.
Yeah, you got to go out on top.
Took me a while to get here. I'm not ready to give it up.
The Aaron Donald thing was crazy when that happened.
Yeah.
He was
top of
so
the game.
good.
Yeah, he's like, that's
and
it.
he was not on the back 9 even.
Sometimes you just know it's time.
Yeah.
Barry Sanders, the ultimate.
Barry Sanders. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it.
Ultimate early retirement.
Who's the other one?
Calvin Johnson, Megatron.
Yeah,
that was
Detroit's like, what are we doing here? Come on, guys. Just walking away.
Let's see what else. Do you guys have anything else to add? We briefly glossed over it early in our 6 o'clock hour, but the biggest news in sports, probably overnight at least, was the late news that Juju Watkins, USC star, suffered a knee injury, and then you have to do we got to wait and see, and it has been confirmed. Her season's over. She did tear her ACL in her right knee in just their second round game. I don't know how far USC was going to go, but they did still win without her. But, man, it was just I've been seeing the highlight on the TV in here throughout the morning. And just to see her go reach directly for the knee and writhing in pain for somebody that's that important to their sport and that big of a star, it was really a bummer.
Yeah, I just hope she's back for next season and recovered. I was talking actually with Wale last night at Channel 10, and he goes, well, do players come out early for the WNBA draft? And I go, why? They make nothing in the WNBA. Might as well stay in college. I think you get more attention and NIL, probably money. I mean, you can always get endorsements in the WNBA as well, but I think you actually will probably make more in college if you stick around. So I don't anticipate Juju Watkins going anywhere, but hopefully she's back. She's only a sophomore, so you still have 2 more seasons at USC to, chase the championship. And, her team looked good without her. They won by almost 40 points, but it's such a top heavy sport. I mean, you think that there's no Cinderella on the men's side. How about the women's side? All 4 number 1 seeds, 2 seeds, 3 seeds. And then there's 1 4 seed and 3 5 seeds in the Sweet 16. So the big upsets were 3 5s that beat the 3 4 seeds in those matchups. I mean, it is chalk, and more chalk on the women's side.
Now, Paulie,
don't even bother playing the first weekend.
How big was his victory lap about the San Diego State women's game?
I didn't even mention it because that would be crass.
But you like to be right, and you said there is no. I thought about it. I go, oh, I bet he is beating his chest this morning.
I did not beat my chest.
No, he was good.
I congratulated Stacey Terry Hudson and her team on a successful season.
Yes.
And LSU was really, really good.
Yeah.
And they are now on to the Sweet 16 with all the other top seeds because this is what happens in the women's tournament. It's just what happens.
But you were right.
I was right.
Does that feel good?
It's just very. I think it was a very obvious statement.
All right.
I like to be right when other people are wrong. That's what I really like.
Since we're talking women's college basketball tournament, I did see maybe the worst bad beat of all time.
Ooh.
I don't remember the team. Was it either UConn or South Carolina? One of the powerhouses. They were favored by 71.5.
God.
And somebody at least posted, it could be fake or whatever, photoshopped obviously, but somebody posted a ticket for a $100 bet that would have paid out. They had the 71.5, and the score was they were leading by 71, and then they hit a last second half court 3 down 71 to make it 74, and all of a sudden the bet was out.
Oh, so they bet on the underdog to cover
whatever they
plus 71.5, and they were about to cover, and the team hit one at the end.
71.5, you're at 71. And a last second just prayer.
Anytime you're betting anything plus or minus that much, it's not a bad beat. It's a dumb bet.
It's a dumb bet.
There's just no way you can ever really predict a blowout. Because if a blowout is 50, 60, or 70, still a blowout. Doesn't change anything. So you're really betting on nothing. It's a lottery ticket.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Sports gambling is crazy.
It'll get you.
A couple of college men's notes, if you don't mind here, Paulie,
Please.
on coaching that we didn't get to. The UNLV Rebels have hired Josh Pastner, who, remember, took Memphis to the NCAA tournament like 3 years. They went to Georgia Tech, and he's only gone once since then. I saw a lot of people saying, oh, great hire, West Coast, ties. They're going to love Josh Pastner. And I saw like Mark Ziegler go, privately around the Mountain West, they are absolutely thrilled that UNLV has hired Josh Pastner. I don't even know what that means, but maybe it wasn't a good hire. Maybe it was. And then the Mountain West also lost Nico Medved, the coach of Colorado State, got them into the second round. He was hired at Minnesota, which I think is kind of notable because, that was Brian Dutcher's school where
that
his
was
dad
the
coached.
clause,
And, where he had the clause where he could leave for Minnesota, but doesn't sound like that ever materialized. And they're going to take a different Mountain West coach in Nico Medved. Good coach, leaving the Mountain West for the Big Ten.
And then finally, just kind of skimming through the prep service, trying to find a goofy story for this morning, and it was slim pickings. But I did find something here. It's not really like a trend, but there has been some discourse on the term boomerasking.
Boomerasking.
Have you ever
like
heard of
boomerasking?
It actually has nothing to do with like
boomer, like me.
Yeah. Not back in my day or anything about, cutting the cord for cable or anything like that.
Is it like boomerang?
Boomerasking is when you ask someone a question or start a conversation just so you can talk about yourself. So you throw it out there, but with the hope of it coming right back to you, kind of like a boomerang. Some examples are, how was your vacation? Mine was great.
But like if we all went on vacation, would say, hey, how was your vacation? Mine was great.
Hey, how's work going? I've had the worst week at the office.
I'm guilty. I think I'm guilty.
Yeah, you bring up a topic not because you really want to hear what the other person has to say, but you want to.
Have you
talk
ever
about yourself.
wondered what the other person had to say?
Me?
Ever?
Not really.
In a conversation? Yeah, I was gonna wonder.
One of the examples they keep using: you show up on a Monday, you ask your coworker, "Hey, did you do anything fun over the weekend?" Listen to this.
Listen to my story. I'm so guilty of
To be fair,
that.
I'm not that guy either who will regale you with my
That's
own.
true. Your tales
stories.
are, yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Correct. You're just not that interested in
anything.
In
at all.
really anything.
I
Sports.
hadn't heard that
Basketball.
phrase, and I
Boomerasking.
hadn't really
Yeah.
thought about it. And I go,
Yeah.
I think we're all probably guilty.
Ooh, I'm guilty. I'm so guilty.
Just
of
don't
that.
do it with your spouse or significant other. They
Yeah,
always notice when you do something like that.
True. It would be like me saying right now, are you guys about to pee your pants? Because let me tell you, I'm literally about to urinate on myself. And I don't know that I can make it 4
Can you
minutes.
hold it another
Have
4
you ever
minutes?
almost peed your pants? Because I'm about to pee my
I
pants.
think we all have almost done so.
You're talking, I can't hear a word. My back teeth are floating.
You don't
right
want
now.
to be wee wee woods.
I know
forever.
That's
So
exactly
you got to
right.
hold it.
You know, I had
a couple more minutes.
I'll hold it a couple more minutes, but I had a conversation with my missus yesterday. We were in the airport, and we're checking these trips off the list. We got a bunch more stuff coming this year. Sorry for you guys, and I'm going to do my very best to lighten the load.
I feel like I need to start planning vacations just to catch up with you.
Oh yeah, you will not catch up.
I got one
with
next
me.
month.
Woods from 3 years ago would hate current
Woods now.
Woods.
Yeah, listen, my kids are older. They can't. They have to go places. It's just the way that it is. But I'm taking
old vacation Woods.
I know, right? I'm taking the
All
special.
the crap that Ben got for
I'm
years.
taking the special 50th birthday trip to Manchester, England, as you guys know. I was talking to my wife about it. We did a little research. My hotel's about 6 miles away from the venue, so I'm going to have to figure out how to get there. I want to be close up to if I'm going all the way, I want to be close to where I can see the stage. I don't want to be in the back of 80,000 people. She goes, "What are you going to do?"
You don't have tickets yet?
No, I got tickets, but it's
general admission.
It's GA,
wow,
yeah. But I want to be close, so that means you have to get there,
Run
when
in,
doors
God.
open, run in, and then you have to stand there for 10 hours or whatever. And I said, I'm seriously considering
GA for a concert that big?
Well, I have floor seats, so like it's in a park,
standing room in the floor. Oh, it's in a
It's
park.
a giant
not
park.
I was thinking like it was a big
outdoor.
venue.
No.
Ticket seats and everything.
Oh,
But you
wow.
have to run up to
Right,
get your
to get
spot.
close. Yeah.
And she said, "What are you going to do?" And
Careful.
I said, "I'm legitimately thinking about going as early as I can go. The earliest they'll allow me, running up and wearing a diaper."
Oh my god!
Like, which is what they do at Times Square. When you see those people at Times Square, they got
For the
those
New Year's
cherries.
Eve
Yeah,
ball?
they
Yeah.
all wear adult diapers.
Just so you get there, you don't have to ever leave and go to the bathroom.
You don't lose your spot.
I see.
What are your thoughts on that for a grown 50-year-old man on his 50th birthday, by the way, wearing a diaper at a concert?
By yourself? Probably a good strategy.
You think so?
Yeah.
Would you do it? Could you do it?
I mean, figure you're probably going to end up there in a few years anyway. So,
That's true.
why
I
not?
mean, and if I had one on right now, I absolutely would use it. That's how bad it is.
Oh.
Yeah. Good luck. All right, I'll let you guys know how it works out.
I'm very scared.
One
have,
baseball note.
We have like 6 people lurking outside.
What is happening out there?
I'll give you a quick baseball note. The Angels are releasing outfielder Mickey Moniak.
A local kid.
Yeah, so he had won $2 million in his arbitration hearing, but when you go to arbitration, it's not guaranteed. So they only have to pay him a sixth of that, $333,000. He can latch on somewhere else now.
Tier ones.
I don't know that the Padres are interested, but former local standout Mickey Moniak, number one
draft pick.
He was, yep, is now no longer a member of the Los Angeles Angels organization. So, little breaking baseball news at the end of the program. All right, go to the bathroom. Go. All right, we will be back tomorrow on opening day eve for your San Diego Padres. We'll have some more tickets to give away for Friday night's game against the Atlanta Braves. Braden is coming up next for executive producer Paul Reindl and Stephen Woods off to the bathroom again. He also left Friday's show early.
Number 1.
I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your Tuesday from all of us here at 97.3 The Fan.